Columbia College, faculty members, research scholars, and students. I, Priyanka Navra, welcome you all to the national webinar on navigating generational gaps, strengthening parent-child relationship. Before we start the session, I would like to call Dr. Ava Dubey, ma'am, for program introduction. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Priyanka. Good morning, everyone. I, Dr. Abha Dubey, Vice Principal, Columbia College, and Treasurer, CESCO, cordially welcome you all in this national webinar on navigating generational gaps, strengthening the parents-child relationship. Today, we are very honored to have Honorable Professor Dr. Sachidanand Shukla ji, Vice Chancellor, Pandit Ravi Shankar Shukla University, Raipur. We welcome you, sir, on behalf of Columbia College and CESCO. We are pleased to welcome our today's keynote speaker, Honorable Dr. J.C. Ajwani, sir, an eminent psychologist and international counselor, and Honorable Dr. Dipti Acharya, ma'am, distinguished professor from renowned the Maharaja Sayaji Rao University, Baroda, Gujarat. I warmly greet our Honorable Harjit Singh Gura, sir, Secretary JPS, Raipur. Honorable Principal Dr. Arun Kumar Dubey, Columbia College. Honorable Santosh Dubey, President CESCO. Master Ojas Dubey, the founder of Universal Talk. All the participants across India, I would like to share with you all that we have received more than 530 participants, almost covering all the states of India, and some are from Global Fraternity. I welcome you all on behalf of CESCO and the Columbia College. In our culture, Mata, Pita are considered as God, who are the reason of our being and lead, guide, nurture, and care throughout the ages. Being children, our foremost duty towards our parents is to love them, understand them, and have empathy towards them. As they understand our feeling, we must realize their feelings. I always think that they become parents for the first time. Even they learn and understand the needs of their children without having any degree and fulfill their responsibility to the utmost. Now I feel it's the time that we should appreciate them, what we do for us, and sacrifice their entire life in parenting. Columbia College and CESCO have come together in a collaborative effort to foster parental consciousness among children. As society progresses, there is a need to strengthen relationship of children and parents and give recognition for their roles and responsibility towards family. Understanding child psychology and giving greater attention to the needs of children, as well as we need to understand parent psychology, and there should be an effort to bridge the gaps between them. The ultimate goal of this webinar is to create consciousness and feeling of respect between parents and children. I strongly wish from our country, even from all over the world, number of old age home will be diminished and every child becomes, as indicates in this quote, Pratah Kal Uthike Raghunatha, Matu Pita Guru Navehi Matha. This webinar consists of two sessions. In first session, Dr. J.C. Ajwani sir is the keynote speaker, an international counselor and eminent psychologist. After his session, we have youth representative from the Maharaja Sayaji Rao University, Ms. Asmita Bharadwaj. She shares her views on this topic, which is followed by a question and answer session. I welcome both of you, sir. The second session is taken over by Dr. Dipti Acharya, ma'am, from the Maharaja Sayaji Rao University, Baroda, followed by youth representation, Mr. Praveen from Columbia College. Then, if you have any queries, please feel to ask us. We'll organize this webinar for you all. Thank you so much. I welcome you, everyone who have been associated with us in this webinar for the Noble Cause. Thank you so much. Over to you, Priyanka.
Thank you, ma'am. Now let us have the pleasure of listening to the opening remarks. May I request Dr. Arun Kumar Dubey, sir, Honorable Principal, sir, Columbia College, to deliver welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Priyanka. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to all of you. It is with great joy that I extend my warmest welcome to each and every one of you to this highly anticipated national webinar on topic of paramount importance, that is navigating generational gaps, strengthening the parent-child relationship. I cordially offer my salutations to the distinguished our chief guest for this webinar, Professor Dr. Sachidanand Shukla sir, who serves as the Vice Chancellor of Pandit Ravi Shankar Shukla University, Raipur. On behalf of Columbia College and CESCO, I extend a sincere and warm welcome to you, sir. Thank you for coming and joining us, sir. We are delighted to introduce our esteemed keynote speakers for today's event. The esteemed and Dr. J.C. Ajwani, sir, a prominent figure in psychology and international counseling, and the illustrious Dr. Deepti Acharya, ma'am, a well-regarded professor hailing from Maharaja Sayaji Rao University, Baroda, Gujarat. I also welcome our Secretary of Jan Pragati Education Society, Mr. Harjit Singh Hura, sir, Mr. Santosh Dubey, President CESCO, and our youth representatives, Ms. Smita Bhardwaj and Mr. Praveen Verma. I also extend my heartfelt greetings to all the participants, academicians, professors, research scholars, and students who have been associated with us for achieving the aim of the webinar. This webinar stands as an inspiration of insight and understanding, aiming to not only enhance the parent-child relationship, but also to mend the gap that sometimes arise due to differences in perspectives, values, and experience. Hope you all have a great day today. And again, I welcome to all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. May I now request to Sri Harjit Singh Hura, sir, Secretary of JPS, to address our esteemed participants of the webinar. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Priyanka. And good morning to all. आज के इस कार्यक्रम के मुख्य अतिथि डॉक्टर एस.एन. शुक्ला सर, रिस्पेक्टेड वाइस चांसलर पंडित रविशंकर शुक्ल यूनिवर्सिटी, आज के की नोट स्पीकर्स डॉक्टर जे.सी. अजवानी सर, डॉक्टर दीप्ति आचार्य मैम, डॉक्टर अरुण दुबे सर, प्रिंसिपल कोलंबिया कॉलेज, all respected faculty members and dear students. सबसे पहले मैं आप सभी को हमारे राष्ट्र की उपलब्धि चंद्रयान 3 की जो कल लैंडिंग हुई है उसके लिए दिल से आप लोगों को सभी को बधाई देना चाहूँगा। हमारे साइंटिस्ट लोगों ने जो अचीव किया है वो इनक्रेडिबल है। मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा आज के मुख्य अतिथि डॉक्टर शुक्ला, अजवानी सर, दीप्ति मैम का, कि आज आप लोगों ने अपना कीमती समय निकाला और इस कार्यक्रम की शोभा बढ़ाई। और अजवानी सर और दीप्ति मैम अपने जो भी इनके जो खजाना है, रिसोर्स है, इनका ट्रेजर है, उसमें से कुछ अंश आज हमारे बच्चों को प्राप्त होगा। वी आर वेरी मच थैंकफुल टू बोथ ऑफ यू। मैं बधाई देना चाहूँगा डॉक्टर दुबे जी को, प्रिंसिपल सर को, कि इतने अच्छे टॉपिक नेविगेटिंग जनरेशनल गैप, स्ट्रेंथनिंग पेरेंट चाइल्ड रिलेशनशिप पर ये वेबिनार आयोजित किया है। क्योंकि ये टॉपिक ऐसा है कि जनरेशन गैप सदैव रहेगा। तो आज के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में जो आज की जो सिचुएशन है उसमें अगर हम बात करें तो इस कार्यक्रम और इस टॉपिक की महत्ता बहुत अधिक है, क्योंकि हम उस समय पर हैं जब हम 50 और 60 की एज में पहुंच चुके हैं और हमने वो समय भी देखा है जब हम पोस्ट कार्ड पोस्ट किया करते थे, और आज जो मोबाइल और इसरो की जो अचीवमेंट्स और कम्युनिकेशन और ट्रांसपोर्टेशन में जो उपलब्धियां हासिल की हैं, टेक्नोलॉजी में जो उपलब्धियां हासिल की हैं हिंदुस्तान और पूरे विश्व ने, तो जो चीज़ें जो हमने विटनेस किए हैं पिछले 40-50 सालों में, जो परिवर्तन हमने देखा है, और आज के जो बच्चे हैं वो पैदा होते ही जो है इंटरनेट और मोबाइल उनके पास रहता है। तो हम लोगों ने जो स्ट्रगल और जो प्रोग्रेस और डेवलपमेंट देखा है अपने जीवन में, और आज की जो जनरेशन है, तो एक क्वांटम डिफरेंस है दोनों की अपब्रिंगिंग में, एक्सपोजर में। तो नेचुरली ये जो जनरेशन गैप है ये होना लाजमी है। लेकिन इस जो जनरेशन गैप है, इसको हम कैसे कोप अप करें? आज हम जिस पोजीशन पर हैं, जिस लाइफ की जिस पोजीशन पे हैं, जिस मुकाम पर हैं, उसमें हमारी जिम्मेदारियां बहुत अहम हैं। और आज के बच्चों को हैंडल करना ये वाकई बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट टॉपिक है कि कितना कठिन हो गया है। और आप अगर उनसे सम्मान प्राप्त करना चाहते हैं तो आपको भी उतना ज्ञान, उतना अपडेट्स आपके पास में होना चाहिए, तभी आप उन्हें सही गाइड कर पाएंगे, सही दिशा दिखा पाएंगे। और हमारी जिम्मेदारी इस मुकाम पर सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट वही है कि उन्हें जो हमारा एक्सपीरियंस है, हमारा एक्सपोजर है, हमारा ज्ञान है, हमारी जो स्किल्स हैं, जो हमने सीखा है अपने जीवन में, वो उन्हें प्रदान करें और एक सही दिशा उन्हें दिखाएं। और जैसे कि आजकल की जो प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, चाहे वो बहुत ज़्यादा स्क्रीनिंग की हो, लाइफस्टाइल की हो या एडिक्शन की हो, उससे हमें उन्हें कैसे दूर रखना। और उसके लिए सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट मैं जो समझता हूँ, ये जो क्वालिटी टाइम होता है आपका अपना खुद का, उनके साथ बिताएं और उन्हें उनके साथ में खूब बातें करें, उनके साथ में खेलें, उन्हें उस दौरान उन्हें छोटा छोटे जो ज्ञान हैं, जो टिप्स हैं, वो देते जाएं, जिससे वे जो जिन गलतियों से हम सीखे हैं वो गलतियां एटलीस्ट वो ना करें, ऐसा हमारा प्रयास होना चाहिए। जिससे वो, क्योंकि आज का जो दौर है वो बहुत कॉम्पिटिटिव है। आज से 40 साल पहले कंपटीशन बहुत कम होता था, लिटरेसी बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं थी, लेकिन आज की तारीख में जितने टेक्निकल प्रोफेशनल्स हो रहे हैं, बाजार में आ रहे हैं, तो कंपटीशन बहुत सीवियर है। उसके लिए हमें उनको तैयार करना है। और एक बात और कहना चाहूँगा कि ये जो फेलियर है, उसके लिए भी हमें उन्हें तैयार करना है। आज के जो बच्चे हैं इमोशनली उतने स्ट्रांग नहीं है, इसलिए वो फेलियर को बर्दाश्त नहीं कर पाते हैं और वो निगेटिव डायरेक्शन में जाने का प्रयास करते हैं। इसलिए हमें उनके साथ में परस्पर संवाद हमेशा बनाए रखना चाहिए, जिससे वो कोई भी नेगेटिव स्टेप न उठाएं और जीवन का आनंद लें। और हिंदुस्तान इतना रिच है हर एस्पेक्ट में, तो उसका वो आनंद लें। और बहुत स्कोप है हमारे देश में प्रोग्रेस करने का। मैं एक बार पुनः डॉक्टर दुबे का धन्यवाद दूंगा कि इतना अच्छा आयोजन आपने किया। और मैं पुनः डॉक्टर शुक्ला जी का, डॉक्टर अडवाणी जी, डॉक्टर दीप्ति मैम का आभार व्यक्त करता हूं कि आप लोगों ने अपना कीमती समय हम लोगों के लिए निकाला। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू सर।
For your valuable words. Now, before we start our first session, I would like to call Dr. Ava Dubey ma'am for introduction and welcome of our chief guest, Dr. Sachinandan Shukla. Over to you, ma'am.
Namaskaram. It is the matter of great honor to have this opportunity to introduce our Honorable Professor, Dr. Sachidanand Shukla sir, Vice Chancellor Pandit Ravi Shankar Shukla University, a magnificent personality and treasure house of knowledge. It's very tedious task to introduce him within this time limit. I picked some of the pearls from the vast ocean of his experience. Presently, as we all know, he is a Vice Chancellor of Pandit Ravi Shankar Shukla University, Raipur, Chhattisgarh. He was a Pro-Vice Chancellor, Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia, Awadh University, Ayodhya. He was Registrar, Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia, Awadh University, Ayodhya. He was the Governor's nominee, Board of Management, Mohanlal Sukhadia University, Udaipur, Rajasthan. And the list is so on. He played so many different administrative roles in his this life tenure and bear different responsibilities. He was in visit of several academic visits abroad and India. He spreads his glory and knowledge, have academic visits such as University of Pennsylvania, USA, MHRD's Leadership for Academicians program, jointly organized with Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai, and at the University of Pennsylvania, 23rd International Conference of International Academy of Physical Sciences, Nepal. And the list is so long and we cannot brief in this short time period. He has several associations with academic bodies and committees He was fellow, Scholar Academic and Scientific Society, fellow, Institute of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering. He was fellow of International Association of Computer Science and Information Technology. He was associate fellow, International Academy of Physical Sciences. These are the some prominent achievement of his association with different academic bodies, and list is n number of list we have got. He has accorded with 17 distinguished awards. Some of them is he was conferred upon the Certificate of Appreciation by the employer institution, Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia, Awadh University in 2021. Distinguished Researcher in Electronics Award by Venus International Foundation, Chennai, Tamil Nadu in 2020. IMRF Distinguished Scientist Award in Physics by International Multidisciplinary Research Foundation, Vijayawada, Andhra Pradesh. Best Outstanding Academician Award by Kamarjar Institute of Education Research, Thanni, Tamil Nadu. PhD 1992 Physics Research Field, Electroluminescence. DSc, Awadh University, Faizabad. Physics registered on 21/1/2018. And we cannot, as I earlier mentioned, we cannot enlist all these awards and experience of sir. He has more than 30 plus years of teaching experiences and with following designation and responsibilities: professor from 1/9/2009 to till date, associate professor, reader, senior lecturer, and lecturer. He marks his presence in several editorial boards and peer review journals. He delivered 37 invited lectures in national, international conferences, workshops, webinars, and FDPs. He also bears social responsibility as member Rotary Club and International Society Service Platform, Shri Ayodhya Dham. He was honorary journalist, Hindustan Times, Lucknow. He was former member Management Board, Maharaja Public School, Shri Ayodhya Dham. He was former member Social Advisory Board, Navodaya Vidyalaya, Shri Ayodhya Dham. And in this way, he also fulfilled his social responsibility towards the society. He also provided consultancy services, completed consultancy project, review and authentication of competitive question for Tata Consultancy Services during April 2022. He also completed consultancy period, review and authentication of competitive questions from Tata Consultancy Services in June 2020. He involved in some current research projects, development and analysis of small signal pair amplifiers and other linear electronic circuits supported by Department of Higher Education.
Sorry to intervene. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
I will brief, sir. I will brief. Yes.
Just a minute. My next meeting is already scheduled from 12
Okay.
noon. So if you don't mind.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I brief, sir. I brief. So your contribution in the field of education, research, and society is praiseworthy, and you are the motivation for young generation. Welcome you, sir, once again in this national webinar. Over to you, Priyanka. To invite, sir, for your address so that we'll have some experiences from your knowledge, sir.
Thank you, Dr. पहले तो मैं कोलंबिया कॉलेज मैनेजमेंट है अरुण कुमार दुबे जी आपको बधाई देना चाहता हूँ कि बहुत ही प्रोमिनेंट और रिलेवेंट टॉपिक आपने चूज किया है अपने इनिशियल वेबिनार के लिए बट जो चीफ गेस्ट सेलेक्ट किया है वो गलती से ऑड्स मैन आउट सेलेक्ट कर लिया है ना बिकॉज I am not, I am basically the man of physics and the respective topic is related to the child psychology. But मेरा अपना ये मानना है कि हर व्यक्ति उस फेज से गुजर चुका है जिस फेज को ध्यान में रख करके ये टॉपिक सेलेक्ट किया तो अपने पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंसेस ये भी काउंट करते हैं कहीं ना कहीं पर और जो एमिनेंट पर्सनालिटीज आपने इस वेबिनार के लिए आपने इनवाइट कर रखे हैं, डॉक्टर जेसी अजवानी जी और डॉक्टर दीप्ति आचार्य, और इस तरीके के और भी जो एमिनेंट पर्सनालिटीज हैं, वो डेफिनेटली जो रिसेंट रिसर्चेस होंगे इस फील्ड में, जो रिसेंट आउटकम्स होंगे, उसके ऊपर चर्चा करेंगे। मैं बहुत कम शब्दों में अपने कुछ एक्सपीरियंसेस और जो इस थीम से रिलेटेड आज की रिक्वायरमेंट है उसके बारे में बात करूंगा। अगर हम इंडियन कंटेक्स्ट में बात करें तो जो डेमोग्राफिकल सिनेरियो है वो स्पष्ट रूप से एक बॉर्डर लाइन क्रिएट करता है हमारे ग्रामीण परिवेश में और जो अर्बन एरिया है उसमें। अगर आप चाइल्ड साइकोलॉजी की बात करें और शहरी क्षेत्र की बात करें तो वहां पर ये चाइल्ड साइकोलॉजी आपको डिफरेंट मिलेगी, और जो ग्रामीण परिवेश है वहां पर डिफरेंट मिलेगी। शायद मेरा कहने का आशय ये है कि अगर आप ग्रामीण परिवेश में उसके कंटेक्स्ट में बात करते हैं तो जो सेंस ऑफ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है टू बियर द फैमिली रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज एंड अदर एसोसिएटेड फंक्शंस, ये शायद वहां पर जल्दी अर्ली एज में आ जाता है। और शहरी क्षेत्रों में ये जो एज होगा ये थोड़ा सा ज्यादा गैप लेता है। उसके रीजन है कि हम ग्रामीण परिवेश में जो बच्चों के ऊपर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज हैं वो अर्ली एज में ही डालना शुरू करते हैं। शहरी क्षेत्र में उनके एक पढ़ने का फेज होता है, इसके बाद ग्रेजुअली उनकी जो डिपेंडेंसी होती है पेरेंट्स के ऊपर वो कंपैरेटिवली ज़्यादा होती है, और फिर ग्रेजुअली हमको लगता है कि लगभग 15 साल या 16 साल के बाद का ऐसा पीरियड है ना, जबकि वो थोड़ा थोड़ा रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज बियर करना शुरू करते हैं। और ये जो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बियरिंग फेज है ग्रामीण परिवेश में वो शायद 10 वर्ष के आसपास से ही स्टार्ट हो जाता है। बट बेटर जो इसमें एनालिसिस है वो जो आपके एमिनेंट रिसर्चर्स हैं इसमें वो बेटर बता पाएंगे। मैं जो कुछ भी बोल रहा हूँ वो अपने पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस के आधार पर बोल। ये एक अपने आप में एक गैप क्रिएट करता है कि हमारे पूरे भारतवर्ष में खास तौर से जो चाइल्ड डेवलपमेंट को लेकर के जो भी योजनाएं हम बना रहे हैं उसका यूनिफॉर्म डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कहीं ना कहीं लैक कर रहा है। ये एक पैरामीटर हो सकता है आपके इस नेशनल वेबिनार में डिस्कशन का। इसके अलावा अभी आप सबको पता है कि नेशनल एजुकेशन पॉलिसी ना ये 2020 में लॉन्च हो चुकी है ऑलरेडी, और इस एजुकेशन पॉलिसी में बाकायदा इस बात का ध्यान रखा गया है कि ये जो गैप है ग्रामीण परिवेश और शहरी परिवेश के बच्चों के बीच में, खास तौर से उनका जो सेंस ऑफ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी और जो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बियरिंग कैपेसिटी है ना, उसको कंपनसेट करने के लिए ढेर सारे प्रोविजंस भी उसमें लाए गए। और इसीलिए शायद कॉग्निटिव स्किल्स की बात उसमें की गई है और होलिस्टिक डेवलपमेंट की बात की, और ये कहा गया है कि जो प्लेवे मेथड है ना उससे हम ब्रॉट अप स्टार्ट करते हैं ना साइमल्टेनियसली ग्रामीण परिवेश और शहरी परिवेश में, और इसके बाद फिर ग्रेजुअल इंप्रूवमेंट और धीरे धीरे करके वर्क और ओवरऑल पर्सनालिटी डेवलपमेंट के ऊपर ध्यान दिया। मे बी कि अगले 15 वर्षों में ये जो जिस गैप की बात मैंने उठाई है ना ये काफी हद तक कंपनसेट होने की स्थिति आ सकती है, सब्जेक्ट टू द कंडीशन कि हम कितने ऑनेस्टली किसी पॉलिसी के ऊपर वर्क कर रहे हैं। क्योंकि योजनाएं बहुत बनती हैं, बट उस योजना के पीछे जो ऑनेस्ट इम्प्लीमेंटेशन है वो एक बहुत बड़ा पैरामीटर होता है जिसकी की रिक्वायरमेंट एटलीस्ट जो एकेडमिक फ्रेटर्निटी है उससे की जाती है, हम सारे जो टीचर्स हैं उनसे की जाती है ना कहीं एक ऑनेस्ट इम्प्लीमेंटेशन का हम पार्ट बने। अगर हम चाइल्ड साइकोलॉजी की बात करें तो जाहिर सी बात है कि जब फ्रेश ब्रेन रहता है, आई मीन अर्ली एज में, उस समय जितनी भी चीजें आप उसको हैंडल करने के लिए देते हैं, जिसे आप प्लेवे मेथड कहते हैं या आंगनबाड़ी का जो कंसेप्ट है, वो हमें लगता है कि बहुत तेजी के साथ सीखने की टेंडेंसी डेवलप करता है बच्चे के अंदर, और इसी को एनईपी में ध्यान भी रखा गया है। मैं कहीं पर एनईपी के ही रेफरेंस में कुछ पढ़ रहा था आज से 1-1.5 साल पहले, तो फिनलैंड का मॉडल मेरे सामने आया था, और उसमें शायद 10 वर्ष की एज तक किसी भी बच्चे को फॉर्मल एजुकेशन के लिए एम्फसाइज नहीं किया जाता है, बल्कि उनका जो एजुकेशनल पैटर्न है वो कंपैरेटिवली इनफॉर्मल, उसमें प्ले एंड लर्न, एक्सपीरियंस एंड लर्न, है ना, इस पैटर्न के ऊपर बातचीत होती है। और साइमल्टेनियसली जो टीचर और पेरेंट है ना, वो दोनों ही इस प्रोसेस को कंट्रीब्यूट करता है। जितना रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी शेयरिंग टीचर की रहती है, उतनी ही उस बच्चे के पेरेंट्स की रहती है। हमें ऐसा लगता है कि ये जो मॉडल है, ये चाइल्ड साइकोलॉजी के लिए काफी इंपॉर्टेंट मॉडल है, कि उसको घर में भी चीजों को एक्सपीरियंस करने दें, स्कूल में भी चीजों को एक्सपीरियंस करने दें, तो जो इन्वायरमेंट वेरिएशन है ना, वो उसको नहीं मिलेगा, और वो चीजों को तेजी से ग्रास्प करेगा और तेजी से उसकी सीखने की टेंडेंसी आएगी, ऐसा मेरा अपना मानना है। बहुत सारी बातें हैं जो मैं बट थोड़ा सा ऑलरेडी लेट हो चुका हूँ, एक ऑलरेडी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बैठक है जिसमें कि इंपॉर्टेंट लोग हैं, मेरा वेट कर रहे हैं, मुझे नहीं वेट कराना चाहिए उनको, तो मैं आपको जरूर सॉरी बोलना चाहूँगा, क्योंकि वो बैठक 12 बजे से हमने शेड्यूल किया हुआ था, और इस टॉपिक के ऊपर मैं आपसे आग्रह करूंगा कि जरूर आप फिजिकल मोड में भी इस तरीके की कॉन्फ्रेंसेस को कन्वीन करें। विश्वविद्यालय प्रीमाइसेस आपके लिए हमेशा खुला हुआ है, जब भी आपको हमारी आवश्यकता होगी, यू विल फाइंड मी मोर देन रेडी। आप एक कदम आगे बढ़ाएंगे तो मैं 2 कदम आगे बढ़ाऊंगा। हमारे यहाँ का जो साइकोलॉजी डिपार्टमेंट है, उनको मैं अक्सर कहता रहता हूँ कि आप अपने विश्वविद्यालय परिसर में एक काउंसलिंग सेंटर खोलिए, जिसमें कि बच्चों को ये आप जरूर बता सकें कि कैरियर ओरिएंटेशन क्या होता है, और ये जरूर आप बताएं कि सिर्फ सरकारी नौकरी में भविष्य नहीं है, ना, भविष्य उसके हाथों में है। और ये बिलीफ अगर आप डेवलप करते हैं उसके अंदर अपनी काउंसलिंग के माध्यम से, तो शायद ये सबसे बड़ी सेवा होगी विश्वविद्यालय की भी और समाज के लिए भी। आप सबको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, आपने मुझे इस कॉन्फ्रेंस के लिए इनवाइट किया, और दुबे जी से आग्रह है कि जरूर एक कोई ज्वाइंट प्रोग्राम आप शेड्यूल करें, और मेरा ये भी आग्रह होगा कि मात्र आप ही नहीं, बल्कि जहां जहां साइकोलॉजी डिपार्टमेंट हैं, ऐसे 2-3 कॉलेजेस को लूप में लीजिए, यूनिवर्सिटी प्रीमाइसेस को लीजिए, और इसके बाद फिर एक जो कंबाइंड एक प्रोग्राम है, इस तरीके का कुछ जरूर आप के ऊपर विचार करें, और मैं हमेशा सहयोग के लिए आप सबके लिए तैयार रहूंगा। बहुत
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सो मच सर। सर आपकी बात को गंभीरता से लेके इसके लिए हम लोग ऑफलाइन मोड में करने का जरूर प्रयास करेंगे सर। थैंक यू फॉर कमिंग सर।
For sharing your deep knowledge and experiences with us. Now I request Dr. Abha Dubey ma'am to represent vote of thanks. Over to you, ma'am.
Sir, vote of thanks has already been delivered to sir. Please carry forward the program. The next session.
Online में है, left हो गए।
Moving forward to our session, I would like to call Ms. Gopika Sinha ma'am for introduction and welcome for our keynote speaker, Dr. J.C. Ajwani sir. Over to you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, all of you. I am Gopika Sinha. Welcome to the most amazing national webinar on navigating generational gaps, strengthening the parent-child relationship. I take this opportunity to welcome today's keynote speaker, Dr. J.C. Ajwani sir. He has completed PhD at Pandit Ravi Shankar University, Raipur, and DL at Hindu University of America, Florida in USA. Dr. Ajwani sir is a well-known personality. He is now international counselor and motivational speaker. He is life member of different societies. His paper and research have been published in international foreign journals and international Indian journals. He has participated in various international and national seminars. He has worked as chairperson of many universities and he is currently doing so. Many students have completed their PhD under his guidance and he is conduct many training programs and projects. He wrote many books, also did the editorial works. His contribute to education is incomparable. I am sure we will be enriched by the webinar. Once again, I welcome all of you for this webinar. Thank you.
I'd
Priyanka,
like to invite Dr. J.C. Ajwani, sir,
Thank you, Dr. Abha.
for his. Thank you, sir.
It's a great pleasure to present my thoughts at this auspicious occasion. I'm very much impressed by the Secretary, Harjit Singh Hora. I feel that he has talked almost everything which I had in my mind. First of all, question I always had in my mind since I was young person. And at that time that this term was aroused, generational gap. युवा पीढ़ी और पुरानी पीढ़ी. And I feel it that this issue of generation gap was there all the time, is this the present time, and it will remain all in future also. That's why instead of talking about generation gap, now we talk about cohort groups. Cohort groups, यदि मैं मानूं तो यदि आज यंग पर्सन 25 साल का है और मैं 71 साल का हूं, तो मैं जो 55 साल पहले पैदा हुआ उस समय की जो परिस्थितियां थी जब मैं 25 साल का रहा हूंगा और आज जो पैदा हो रहा है या आज जो 25 साल का है उसकी परिस्थितियां एनवायरमेंट वाइज बहुत डिफरेंट होंगी और ये अंतर हमेशा बना रहा है, रहेगा. इंपॉर्टेंट चीज ये है कि as we are entering in the new world nowadays, since last few decades, the world has changed enormously and basing itself on the techno-oriented knowledge, which we were deprived of, not because somebody has deprived us, but it was not introduced to the world. But since last few decades, the techno knowledge has changed the total scenario of the knowledge. Working with the knowledge, experiencing the knowledge, diving inside the ocean of the knowledge, the absolute difference. And I wonder when I see a child of 2 years and he's able to open the mobile code and starts operating the mobile, while a person like me never knows how to lock the mobile which I'm having. The child learns to work on the remote while I'm still unable to work on the remote to open a TV. That's a difference. That's a generation gap. It doesn't mean that this gap is unfortunate. No. Psychologically, this gap should be there so that the reciprocation of the knowledge deliverance shall always be there. I remember at times that when I needed some computer knowledge, and being a good expert, I requested Dr. Arun Dubey to teach me something about computer. But I proved myself a very bad student and could not learn so much. Anyway, but being just like my son and my student, scholar, I am proud of it that he is doing what I never think about myself. It doesn't mean that the old generation has some demerits. No, they have got their own merits. They got own merits of the experience and the knowledge which they gained offline. I still love to read the books instead of working on the net and to understand the knowledge. But of course, when in emergency, now we are coping the knowledge requirement with gaining the knowledge through some Google research, Google Scholar research, and ChatGPT. The topic is of navigating generational gap. What is this navigation? Actually, this navigation term has come from the ocean knowledge, ocean space or space agencies, where the navigator scientists were trying to locate the position of the ship or the aircraft, what it may be. GPS is one of that part of that model. So that the particular space rider or the ship can find its location and can move forward to the destination. Now, working this definition of navigation, which is purely introduced for a different field. Now, here we are using this term to navigate the generation gap. That means accepting, visualizing, and accepting that there is a gap. Gap doesn't mean that there is a hole. कोई खाई नहीं है, जो कि एक नॉर्मली हम सोच के चलते हैं कि ओल्ड और यंग के बीच में खाई है. नो, this is nothing, something like a deep valley between the two peak of the mountains. It is only the gap of the processing of the knowledge. And when we are talking about this navigation, and that's the topic, the theme of this present seminar is regarding the parent-child relationship. So generation gap, it will be there only. We shall not try to reduce the generational gap, which will be a futile effort, I think so. People may differ from me, but I personally feel that this is a very natural phenomena. It will always remain. Today's people to whom I consider a techno expert, and their present kid of 1 year, when he will reach to 50 years of age, then the present so-called great scientist will find that his son is quite ahead. It doesn't mean that his excellency at present time is not good. No. The gap in the knowledge is not that. The process of the gaining knowledge, there is a gap. Everybody is securing the knowledge which is available at that time. But the process differ. Now, how to use this? I'm coming to the main theme of the topic is regarding the parent-child relationship. Being a psychologist, more specifically being a positive psychologist, I find a lot of scope in this direction. It's quite easy to become a biological parent. It takes fraction of second. And the 9 months of the pretty long labor period, pregnancy period for the mother. But psychologically, we start that. The parent-child relationship starts from the moment when the child, the fetus, is being conceived. And that's why in our old mythology or in old Vedas or culture, the ritual of Garbh Sanskara is considered very vital. a proper Garb Sanskara are given. That was well established. Now again, with the help of the positive psychologists and our old mythological knowledge, combining that thing, the concept of Garb Sanskara has been reintroduced by the psychologists to start a good parent-child relationship, good cognitive development, good emotional well-being of the child. Of course, I strongly believe, like you all, that the present moment, a present scenario of the world is quite stressful due to the competition, complexity in human behavior, complexity in the human relationships. And I feel sometimes very much shocked when I learned that the children, they try to commit suicide out of their negative thoughts. Yesterday only one client came, though it was online, and the child cut his vein near the wrist by putting a blade on it in the class only. Coincidentally, the child was counseled by me a few days before only. And he denied that I did it. When I counseled him and he accepted it, the question was that why he did it, why he did this. Certainly, I claim it to the poor child parent child relationship. The child was suffering, he was feeling suffocated under the strict supervision, strict restrictions of the parent. I don't say that the parent shall not supervise their children. It is very crucial nowadays as the child grows now and shifts to the adolescent period. It is very much needed that they shall be supervised and being guided. But this supervision and guidance shall not be, must not be a strict that leads to the deprivation of the exposure to the world, to the friends. I'll not explore the whole case, but I'll tell you that the parents were not permitting him to go outside. Because of that, he was not able to make any friend. And probably to seek the attention of the persons, to seek the empathy, sympathy, whatever it may be, the child cut his friend. It is a threatening situation. There could have been a fatal situation. The parents would have lost their only son just because of their non-awareness about the parent-child relationship. They always thought that they are doing good to their child. But what is good to them, not necessarily be good to the child. If we are not able to look at our children with their perspective in an empathetic manner, probably we are failure. We are failure as a parent, psychologically, socially, and culturally. It's very important that we make them emotionally so strong that they can face this complexity. As Harjit sir has told very nicely, that we must learn, make them child learn that if at all failure comes in their life, still the parents make sure their children that they are always beside them. I remember one film, Chichora, where the hero told that we failed in telling the child, we always told the child that if you come first, we could this, we'll give this prize, this tokens, this much amount the law. But we never taught our children that if he fails, if she fails, whether they will be available to them or not. And one thing always to be remembered, that failure is not a failure means it is not a hopeless situation. Failure is a very good teacher. if it has been taken positively. That's why we always say that parenting shall be positive. Positive parenting means developing resilience, developing feeling emotionally balanced, feeling of security to the child, feeling being loved, feeling being seen. This is very important. Then making them ridicule, punished for small things, or being punished by the when the child is not able to reach to their expectation. Very unfortunate that the child secures 99%, then the parents say, why not 100? You could have made more effort instead of appreciating the child that he secured 99%. The comparative attitude of the parents spoil the parent-child relationship. We don't appreciate our child, whatever status he has been. That we must do. We must learn about it. Individual variation is the nature's quality. That will be essentially will be there. And we are not supposed to compare. We must know that we must appreciate the present status and promote our children to go ahead at his speed with your support, being supported by the parents. Then only a positive relationship between the parent and child will be there. There are different patterns of the relationship, parenting relationship. Not patterns, rather to say that there are the pillars, 4 important pillars of the parent-child relationship. Dr. Arun, with his humble request, you let me know when my time is over, because I'm a very indisciplined speaker in regard to the time. Okay, so please humbly request that you tell me, I will stop concluding my lecture. Okay, the 4 pillars, which I always call 4S of the parenting. First, the parenting shall be safe. It must be seen, it must be soothed, and it must be supported and challenged. This all 4, that means safe, seen, soothed, and supported, are the 4 pillars which leads to the secured attachment. This secured attachment of the child with the parents is a core to navigating the generation gap, where the child will never say his father that you don't know anything. I'm superior to you. If we inculcate those values, is these values which we can inculcate, as I told earlier also, that it shall be from the warm period. It's not that when the child is grown up, then we plan to inculcate those values, those emotional intelligence in our kids. If we want to develop a strong relationship between parent and child, then this process shall start right from the moment of the conception. Moment of the conception, we are not producing a child simply biologically, but it is a social body, it's a psychological body, it's the emotional body, it's a personal, it has got brain, it has got emotions. We cannot take it as a biological. We are not robot. Similarly, our fetus inside the mother's womb is not a robot. We had to inculcate those values, which will prove a plinth for the future strong relationship between the parent and child. It has been studied that the parents who welcome the child throughout the 9 months of the time found a better, strong relationship with the child as compared to those that who at least once in 9 months thought that if at all this child would not have come in the world. The child learns that the somebody on this earth who is very significant to him does not want him to come. And that lead to insecurity. And such children, when they are born, they are suffering infantile neurosis, a term in the psychological medical science, that abnormal status of mind. Infantile, the child is born with the insecurity complex following anxiety. If that pattern continues, a child find at the same situation, then he may be feeling insecure, he may be violent, aggressive, having very poor child, observing very poor relationship with the parents. In contrast, those parents who loved and welcomed all the time till the child born, those have a good sound relationship, a base, a platform for further upliftment of the personality, a resilient personality. Resilient means the personality which is able to perform more better during adverse situation. And the present scenario always reminds us that the further more complicated time is going to come, more tough period is going to come, more adverse periods have to be confronted. And we need to make our children, it is our moral duty that we shall develop such parental quality which is able to give the child a feeling of safe, seen, soothed, and supported. If that has been done, then a maximum lot of things are done. Then only you are simply a happy, quiet observer. The parents will be happy, quiet, observing parents. They will see their child grow with a good hugs almost every day. Both are saying, I love you, Papa. The child says, I love my son, our daughter. This is the thing which is well needed in the present moment. A little small movement, a quality movement of the daily interaction between the parent and the child will make this relationship strengthen. What is the qualities of the strong parent-child relationship? As I told you, this not I'm talking about navigating the generation gap. In fact, I'm trying to make it intact. So that if that is there, navigation process is bound to follow. Bound to follow. The first quality is safety, as I told earlier. Second is unconditional love. Remember, we normally observe that the parents put their love as a condition. यदि तुम ऐसा करोगे तो मैं तुमको प्यार करूंगी. यदि ऐसा करोगे तो तब तुमको प्यार मिलेगा. यदि ऐसा करेंगे तो तुम्हें गिफ्ट मिलेगी. ये जो कंडीशनल लव है, तो बच्चा भी धीरे धीरे यही सीखता है और वो भी कंडीशनल ये करता है. पापा आप जब ये दोगे तो मैं आपको प्यार करूंगा. पापा जब आप ऐसा करोगे तो मैं आपको रेस्पेक्ट करूंगा, और यदि आप नहीं करोगे तो मैं आपको रेस्पेक्ट नहीं करूंगा. This is the reciprocal conditional love is the worst situation psychologically, which make the parent-child relationship too weak, easily fragile. We must not do that thing. Being a parent, it is your moral duty, it is your biological duty, it is your religious duty, it is your spiritual duty, it is your sociological duty, it is your psychological duty, it is your cultural duty that you put unconditional love, and let you teach your child that he also learn to love the humanity unconditionally. Then only we will find a really asset of our whole universe. Then mutual respect. Normally forget that we are the children. We forget that the child is also human. As we need respect as a parent, then they also need respect as a child. We think only elderly people are person to be respected. No. The child shall be respected the day we learn that the child is inside the mother's womb. We must continue talking with respect. If you're talking to your child in the mother's womb, when the child in mother's womb with up, with pranam in the morning, probably the child born will very soon learn that, yes, I had to say pranam, I had to respect his parents. And if this process continues throughout the life, I don't find that we need to strengthen. It is already strengthened. No situation can make them fragile. Then acceptance. That's I told just now. Individual variation is the base of psychology. One definition of psychology is the psychology of individual differences. Just like our palm print, the two person can never be same. We have to accept it. That my child is the very individual child. We cannot afford to compare it with anybody. We shall accept it as it is. वो जैसा है बहुत अच्छा है. It doesn't mean that we shall keep our eyes closed regarding his limitations, which by virtue of the normal probability curve, there will be. Nobody is perfect. The dilemma of the parents regarding the perfection is absolutely absurd. Absolutely absurd. Nobody can reach the level of perfection. We always have a scope of improvement. So where the child is accepted, work for his progress, and be supportive to them, to the child, make him feel that both the parents are beside them in all situations. If he falls, both the parents will take him up and will guide their path towards. So there is no need to cry when failure comes, considering it as a teacher. It's only happens when the child feels that he's being accepted by the parents in all the situations. And then the last important quality of strong parent-child relationship is flexibility. Flexibility means there is no thumb rule for each and everything. No thumb rule. No thumb rule predictions. That I will do this, this will happen. No. Human scenario, human interactions are very complicated. कई बार ऐसा होता है कि कुंडली देख के बोल देते हैं कि इसके भाग्य में इसका गुरु का प्रधान है, तो उसको अच्छा ही होगा, बहुत गुणवान निकलेगा. पता लगा कि गुरु का प्रभाव किसी दूसरे नेगेटिव कारकों के द्वारा, राहु केतु शनि के द्वारा प्रभावित होकर गुरु अपना प्रभाव नहीं दिखा रहा, ऐसा पंडित लोग बोलते हैं. तो लाइफ में यदि हम साइकोलॉजिकली सोचे तो ऐसा है. कितना भी बच्चा जीनियस हो, पर यदि उसे उसका अनुकूल इन्वायरमेंट नहीं मिलता है, तो फिर यह संभव नहीं है कि वह अपने आप को पाए. इससे फ्लेक्सिबल होना जरूरी है. There are so many complicated interactive factors in the life which makes the scenario difficult to prognosize or make it prediction. Now question is that how to strengthen this PCR, that is parent-child relationship. How we can navigate. First is acknowledge your child's feelings. Show them, understand, and reassure them that you are there to help with whatever they need. जो भी है, जैसे भी हैं, उसकी जो आवश्यकता है, हम उनके साथ हैं. हाँ, अरुण कुछ कहना चाह रहे हो? हाँ, टाइम हो गया है क्या?
नहीं.
हाँ, okay. Thank you very much. Please don't forget to remind me. Okay. Try to see things from your child perspective. I'm talking this to parents. कि माता पिता को बच्चे के पर्सपेक्टिव में सोचना चाहिए. माता पिता अक्सर गलती करते हैं कि जो अच्छा है या जो बुरा है उसको अपने दृष्टिकोण से सोचते हैं, परंतु वो मॉरल सेंस उनके पास उस एज अप्रोप्रिएट नहीं हो सकता है। तो बच्चे की तरफ से, बच्चे के अपने को उसके स्थान पर रखकर जब हम सोचने लगेंगे तो शायद हम बच्चे के साथ एम्पैथाइज कर पाएंगे, बच्चे को ये एहसास दिला पाएंगे कि हम तुमको समझ रहे हैं। और जिस समय बच्चे को ये लगेगा कि माता पिता मेरी फीलिंग को समझ रहे हैं, तो पेरेंट चाइल्ड रिलेशनशिप अपने आप स्ट्रेंथन हो जाएगी। गलती पेरेंट्स ये है कि वो तो बच्चा है, साइकोलॉजिकली बच्चा है, इंटेलेक्चुअल ग्रोथ के हिसाब से वो बच्चा है, सोशल मैच्योरिटी के हिसाब से, इमोशनल मैच्योरिटी के हिसाब से उनसे बहुत नीचे है। वी कांट कंपेयर अवरसेल्फ विद द स्मॉल चाइल्ड, or rather to say that we cannot compare the child with ourselves. We have a mountain of the experience. They don't have even the proper plateau of the experience. So how we can do that thing? By listening and empathizing with the child. If we do that, you'll find that there will be a boosting of the mutual respect. There'll be fostering of the mutual respect. And this is, again, I say, this is the plinth of the strong parent-child relationship. This will remove all the gaps. And the process of the navigation starts at that time. Of course, play is a very important thing, lastly. And play shall be, the child will play with the playmates in due course of the time. But till he goes out and play with the playmates, there's a very strong few years of early childhood. In, say, babyhood, toddler, and early childhood. And here, there are the parents only, or the elder siblings, who can give them a quality time. In my clinic, I always observe that parents, if nowadays, as we find, both the parents are working, they say, we don't have time. When we come, we are very tired. I say that this is the lame excuse. I don't accept this excuse of, really, I say it's an excuse of your being busy or got fatigued in work. Whatever you are doing in outside the home work for the bread and butter, it's not only for the bread and butter. That any animal can do. Any beggar can also do that thing. But if you are doing that, means for the child's proper growth, a good parent-child relationship, then we have to serve a quality full time. It doesn't require hours together. Even as I said that meeting once in a day for 5 minutes, hugging the child, kissing the child, and saying, I love you, I missed you, child, is more than enough. We must know to make qualityful meaning. When we are at the dining table, we can talk together, laugh together, and enjoy that mealing time, making everybody responsible. Of course, remember here, one great villain has aroused, as Harjit Singh sir has also told, the screen. Now, screen addiction has been a big hurdle, a really big hurdle. American Psychiatric Association has included as a mental disorder, parallel to in that category where they have put alcoholic addiction, drug addiction, or tobacco addiction. Now, screen addiction is parallel to that. And if we find any child is using more than 3 hours in a day, though they must not watch more than half an hour, but if he's watching more than 3 hours, it is being considered as addiction. And it is indication of the earlier depression or leading to the consequent as a depression. We must find this hurdle shall not come in anybody's child's life. I hope cases where the children are using the mobile more than 13, 14 hours in a day, not going to school, not listening to the parents, get violent, they try attempt suicide, or they attempt homicidal on their parents when they are restricted from the mobile. stop going to school. Why? Because when you are busy, you are using mobile as a tool to make your child in being busy. You never understand it, what the consequences it will bring to the child's life and your miseries for you all. Now, recently we have found very recent research is there, which is talking about the virtual autism. Autism is a genetic disorder, but now we have found and given autism as a mental disorder, which has been aroused to the overuse of the screen and being left alone with the screen, that either TV or mobile or laptop, what it may be. Really, it's damaging, threatening, and we psychologists are really concerned about it. So, if we had to bridge this gap, if we had to navigate this gap, then we must show our love very right time. Say 1,000 times, whenever we speak to our child, the parent shall say to her, I love you. And that will make the child to say, I love you. This reciprocation is reducing the gap, navigating the gap, leading to the desirable state of the strong parent-child relationship. One more thing, just I told about the screen and this disorder. It is also necessary. It does not mean that we shall leave the liberty to the child. जो तुम्हें करना है करो. ये एक ऐसा एहसास दिलाता है चाइल्ड को कि पापा मम्मी को मेरे से कोई संबंध नहीं लगता, मेरी तरफ उनका कोई ध्यान नहीं करता. This don't think that by giving liberty, child takes it positive. It has a negative effect that I'm not cared by my parents. I'm not by loved by my, and they feel insecure that something wrong will happen. Then probably they will not take proper step to correct me. So it is very, very important. Lastly, which I'm going to talk to is that the parents had to set boundaries. They had to set rules, and they had to tell the consequences also. ये एक मोबाइल दिया है, यदि हम जिस दिन हम उसके हाथ में मोबाइल देते हैं, यदि हम कह दें कि आधे घंटे से ज्यादा इसका उपयोग नहीं करना है, तो नहीं करना है, और फिर इसको मॉनिटर करना है. यदि हम मॉनिटर करते हैं बच्चे के बिहेवियर को, तो बहुत रिसेंट स्टडीज हैं जहां पर अप्रोप्रिएटली मॉनिटर करना है, तो ऐसे बच्चे लोग हाई ग्रेडर्स होते हैं, रेसिलिएंट होते हैं. ये मॉनिटरिंग जो है ये अप्रोप्रिएट होनी चाहिए. सेट रूल्स पहले ही कह रहे हैं, कोई भी चीज हम इंट्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं तो उसके लिए सेट रूल्स है. हम पहली बार उसको पार्टी में ले जा रहे हैं, पहली बार मॉल में ले जा रहे हैं, we had to tell this is the rules, you had to follow this. Then this is the boundaries. हमारी ये सीमा है, इसके बाहर हमको नहीं जाना है. यदि हमने कह दिया बच्चे को कि रात के 8 बजे के बाद घर में जाना, घर के बाहर नहीं रहना है, this is the boundary, because we are going to have a joint dinner at 8:30, then that boundary has to be fixed. ये नहीं कि रात को कितने बजे आओ, हमें कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. यहाँ पे जनरेशन गैप नहीं, जेंडर गैप आ जाती है. हम लड़की को तो रोक लेते हैं और लड़के को रोकने से नकार देते हैं, वो तो लड़का है आ जाएगा. नहीं, बोथ के लिए आजकल इगैलिटेरियन कंसेप्ट है. norm shall be equal and same for both the gender children. And then consequences. What consequences? If these rules, these boundaries are broken or crossed, what will be the consequences? The child must know, if he has seen mobile for more than half an hour, then one day your mobile will be taken away. Or whatever rules with a mutual agreement, it shall be introduced. If you are late by more than by 8, then this will happen. Whatever we can decide. That we'll also not eat the food. Let the child feel guilty for that. His parents, his siblings were kept deprived of the taking dinner because of their being late. This understanding has to be given, and he has to take responsibility for it. And I said that once the child starts feeling responsibility for his own betterment, a good understanding will come, and this good understanding will make the real good relationship between the parent and child. Otherwise, as normal, we find that somewhere every day open the newspaper and you find lots of the suicides, lots of the homicides in the families only. These are really pathetic. We are not dreamt about the society like this. God has not sent us on this earth to kill our own parents. Our parents shall kill the child. Today only paper I learned that one mother has thrown his own infant in the well, and she jumped outside inside the well. Both died. This is not the way. This is not the thing we need to observe. When the knowledge has gone so high, then we shall not find such situation in the life. A mother shall teach the child, maybe, I don't know what was the situation, but the adversities are with everybody, different type of adversities. The millionaire, multimillionaire may be facing a different type of adversity, a beggar may be facing different adversity, but both had to live the life, and both have to bear a child and have a good parent-child relationship. That is the nectar of life. And we had to adopt the philosophy of butterfly. We have to settle on a flower only, not a fly where we are going to sit on the shit. Fly philosophy is not good for human being. They must adopt the butterfly philosophy. It always find a flower to sit on. So we must think as a positive aspect of it. And this today's theme is wonderful. I really by heart congratulate the Dr. Arun Dubey, Dr. Abha Dubey, and the organizing committee for us, sir, that they have planned and such a systematic planning. And I have learned that it is advancing on the YouTube also, though I'm not knowing it, but really साधुवाद है आप सबको इस अच्छे टॉपिक के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. Thanks a lot for patient listening. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much.
Sir,
Yes.
after Asmita session, there are some questions. So
Yes.
You will take these questions.
Yes,
Take
please
these
start.
questions, sir. After
Just now.
Asmita session.
Second.
After the Asmita Bharadwaj session, sir.
Yes.
Not
okay.
second session.
Okay, I'll wait for
After
that.
this Asmita.
5 मिनट का टाइम इनको दिया है
हाँ,
जो हमारे
sure. ओके ओके, तब मैं एक गिलास पानी पी के आ जाता हूँ.
जी सर.
Thank you very much, sir, for giving your valuable insights and your deep knowledge. As today we have youth representatives, we have Ashmita Bharadwaj. So I request Ms. Ashmita Bharadwaj for expressing her views regarding this.
Ms. Asmita, would you like to share your PPT?
Yes, sure, ma'am. Please, could you share?
I request Dr. Arun Kumar Dubey, sir, to share her PPT.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, Asmita, you are audible.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody, and namaste to everyone. My name is Ashmita Bharadwaj, and I'm a postgraduate student from the Department of Political Science at the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Baroda. Honorable dignitaries present today, Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. S.M. Shukla, Pandit Ravi Shankar Shukla University, today's esteemed speakers, Dr. J.C. Ajwani and Dr. Dipti Acharya, and other dignitaries from Columbia College, Principal and Vice Principal Dr. Arun Dubey and Dr. Abha Dubey, Mr. Santosh Dubey, President of CESCO, and other eminent dignitaries. Thank you very much for this opportunity that you have lended to me It's a very important and I think a rare case scenario where a youth has been asked to share their uh, point of view in such a topic that is navigating generation gaps. Because I have attended numerous, I've seen many posters where we are talking about this very important aspect, very subject matter, but the children and the adults are not allowed, or they are not present in this very conference or discussions. And I think I'd like to congratulate the entire team for at least including the youth regarding this problems or issues or the opportunities that are being lying in this generational gaps between the parent-child relationships. So you are given the responsibility, me as a youth who has just crossed the teenage period, also has passed through the childhood, and now also advancing towards the later half of being much more adult, matured adult, and also advancing toward parenthood. So my responsibility or my role would be to balance a give and take balance between the childhood that I lived and the parenthood that I would be embracing in maybe 10 years or 12 years to come. So my topic for today, I'll take 5 to 8 minutes. There are just 5 slides. My topic is lessons to learn and lessons to be taught and misunderstandings. My topic is only that because I'm not saying which group should learn the lessons or whom the lessons should be taught, because it is always a two-folded approach. Whatever we have learned in the Department of Political Science, it's power dynamics. Problems are very dynamic in nature. If my problem today is having one item, the next day my needs, my chances, my desires would change according to the political, social, cultural scenarios of the day-to-day life and the contemporary world order. So, which is why when I'm talking about lessons of learning and teaching, I think communication is also a very important part, which follows understanding and misunderstanding. So now the organization CESCO and Columbia College is playing the role of a gardener, because a gardener just does not only plant a tree with roots, but also nurtures the outer scenario where their stems are there, flowers are there, trees, leaves are there. So to make it look beautiful, we do not need the roots, we'll also need the entire plant to look beautiful. And thank you, because not only talking about parents, the psychology of child, the interactions between them, it's very important to learn. And when we talk about generational gaps, I think gap is where we can have spaces to fill up. So this is not rigid, because if we have a glass full of water, we'll never have the chance to put a drop of water or anything. But if a glass is half filled or half emptied, then we'll have definitely the chances to develop or emerge our interactions, and there will be chances of improvement in the near future. So I've shown in the PPT, there's one side, left side is Pragananda, who is the chess grandmaster. He has reached the finals today. He's playing the finale. And the other side is the honor killing, where the father has sold a child to somebody just for some monetary needs. So this is a basic difference. I'm saying this is a very wide gap. I'm sorry for this, but this is a scenario where we can choose either to be Pragnanda and like his mother, who is smiling and supporting the child, and he has reached that international aura where he's the second uh, Indian to reach that level in the finale. And the other side, the devastating, the heinous crimes that are happening against the children, this kind of scenario is there. So next slide. Can you go to next slide, please? Yeah. So these are some kind of movies and messages that I would like to give a very basic timeline, because we have came up from Bhagwan, where we are seeing there's a group of, the children are trying to have a very uncomfortable, discomforted relations with their parents, where the mother and the father are being harassed in many ways. They are very much helpless. The communication gap is being very tremendously, immaculately shown there. And in the middle, we have transitioned to how the child psychology, how we are taking care of the special needs of some special kids, because we cannot compare everybody in the same genre. Everybody has different, we cannot ask a elephant to swim or a fish to climb a tree or something like that. So understanding everybody's needs, desires, wantings, and treating everyone especially is what Thais Aminpur is showing. And now we have come up in 2023 to OMG2, where we are talking about such education of biological orientations, about how the teenager, the puberty, when puberty is hit to the kids when they are growing up, the kind of confusions, immaturity, lots of troubles that are going around, and they are depicted through the movies and messages, and it's been spread to Indian society because movies, audio visuals are a very important medium to communicate. So this is what we have transitioned through for to show the parent-child relationships. I think these are also very important parts or pillars to understand this kind of psychology. Can we change the slide? Yeah. So now I just wanted to give a very brief description of what I meant about parents, peers, and puberty. There are parents where they're educated and well informed, which means what they have time to talk about this. They're aware of the scenarios. They're trying to grasp the AI, the artificial intelligence, socialization, digital aspects, and everything. And they're also trying to communicate with the children. For example, if I want to come abroad and study, my parents will also do some research and also allow me to do will also allow me to understand the complexities that are there, but also they will not confine me. Because if I take my example, I was a part of the National Cadet Corps when many of the students were not allowed to even go to other states to attend camps. When my parents allowed me, happily they have given me the opportunity to explore the genre of National Cadet Corps, and I could represent northeastern regions and in many other states and even countries. So this is how the well-informed, educated, well-informed parents can initiate or initiate the confidence building in students and an adult, which will help them to implicate the same very thing in their coming future prodigies. And next up, there are financial supporters, whereas yes, they have enough money, they have enough the required resources to give, but they do not have the education, the awareness that the students should give. A father or mother can give you money, but they cannot, if they are not able to give you knowledge or the awareness that is required in that same portion of life, you would be gone. Because myself, when I was a teenager, I had asked my parents how to know, because teenage is such a crucial period. You will be confused how to know what I am doing is true, what I'm doing is appropriate and right. There's one message that my parents had shared and I am implementing till today, that is, whatever way, whatever you're doing, if you are to lie to your parents, then you are doing it wrong. If you are not able to confront or communicate with your parents, it means you are going into a wrong path. You should leave it then and there. So this, I think, very important, a very simple message that my parents give, and I think they should be shared to even others. So other parties well informed, but they have time constraints. Of course, bread and butter, just like Dr. JC Ajwani told, bread butter is very ethos of life. We need to survival of the fittest and everything, but it's not everything. If we do not have quality time, we do not understand the thin line between sticking ourselves and having a sense of trust in your child, that yes, even if you are a child but you have this kind of opportunity, you are pushing them and also helping them to, if they fall down, to pick them up and even let them go. If the parents are not able to create that scenario, then it will not help in any way, because we'll be circled around a chain of where we'll struggle, and but we'll come back to that because we are not able to break the chain. And understanding strictness, because strictness is very much required. You cannot leave anybody, because we are just emerging. We might not have experiences. We have to respect your experiences, but also parents should also understand this. Yes, the generation is also empowering. They're also having the language, the modernity is coming with lots of reasons. Gen Z's are coming up. They need liberty, they need freedom, they need justice. This kind of concepts have been used in very day-to-day life. Although there are some kind of miscommunication, but we need to understand that yes, this is the need of the hour. Balancing guidance with independence, that is what I mean. Yes, you need to interfere, but you should not interfere in so much that the child gets irritated. And parents definitely know you have to make a good balance. And also the students part, the child's part, you need to understand that yes, we'll be naive. Children are meant to be naive because we are in the learning stages. So at this time, I think parents' patience level would be very much important, because as Ajwani sir said, safe, seen, soothed, and supported. These are the aspects for pillars of parenting, and which is what I think if they implemented automatically, this kind of challenges and disputes and conflicts that are happening in between might get resolved to some bit. Could you please change to next slide? Yeah, Now, academics and assurance. This is, I think, the last second slide. Recently, NEP 2020 has been implemented in many of the universities. Maharaja Sayajirao University is one, and in my home state Assam, there are also many universities, Guwahati University, Cotton University, where the NEP, National Education Policy 2020 has been implemented, or has been trying to get implemented. Now, where the role of parents, I just wanted to give you an example of the academics, because when we were trying to fill up the form, people were not able to understand the difference between a major course, a minor course, the interdisciplinary electives that should be chosen, the internships, the 3-year course, multiple exits entry. There's so much of chaos because it was very new for the students also, but also it was also very new for the parents. But I think that the responsibility or the burden of learning or grasping to the idea of NEP is much more on parents, because they have gone through an education system, they have passed through this system of learning, where they should be, at least even they could get an orientation on NEP. It would have helped the students, the teachers to understand, and even their child to understand which course to take, because now many are confused. Even though they've taken admissions in NEP in a particular subject, now they are confused that what they did. After some time, they understood that they did a blunder. So this blunder could have been prevented if we had some awareness in the academics area also. It's just you are sending a student, your child to school, that is not the end of everything. A proper communication has to be there, and here the role of the teachers like Dr. Arun Dubey and Dr. Abha Dubey's role comes in, where they are leading an educational institutions, where the proper channel of parents and the teachers and the students comes in, because teachers are also parents, because half of our entire age of the teenage, puberty, adulthood, we spend in our educational institutions. I think the more we interact with teachers, the more interactive space that teachers create, the more creativity and upliftment, development, and happiness and contentment that the students will feel. Because Dr. Deepthi Acharya is my teacher, and I'm blessed to have her, because the kind of interaction I can have with her is making me do good something in my academics, which is my very important. I think the major part of my life is being engaged with the academics. So we cannot remove the academics interaction. This was my thing. And realizing that the thin line between support and pressure, because since I have crossed the era of the area, my space of being a teenage, I'm very much concerned about money. Papa paisa de rahe hain, main itna paisa kharcha kyun karu? I'm not able to apply. There are many psychologists, I have spoken to many, बहुत सारों ने कहीं अप्लाई ही नहीं किया, because they are scared of money. 300 रुपया फॉर्म भरना है, 1000 रुपया फॉर्म भरना है, PhD के एडमिशंस नहीं हो रहे. They are now constrained with money. Now there the engagement of parents comes in कि अभी तुमको पैसे की चिंता करने की जरूरत नहीं है, because once you are engaged in the money and education dilemma, then the distance of you coming to academia and you reaching some kind of heights get distance. So this is a very narrow mindset of even students. They are trying to help their parents कि हम अभी बड़े हो गए, हम पापा से पैसे नहीं मांगेंगे, parents से पैसे नहीं मांगेंगे, but you are not earning, and if your parents are capable enough, then there's no shame in asking for money for some academic purposes. So this kind of misunderstandings has also to be cleared, because if parents are not clear, then there would be so much of gap and you would be regretting it for the entire life. Because if 25 years of our life we are not able to understand everything of our life, then the rest of the 75s we need to suffer, or vice versa. And yes, comparing with so many people, the very common Gen Z language कि शर्मा जी का बेटा ऐसा कर रहा है, शर्मा जी की बेटी ऐसी कर रही है, and everything, because everybody has some own perfections, imperfections. As Dr. J.C. Ajwani said, dilemma of perfection. We do not have to ace in any objects. आप पढ़ाई भी करे, you need to ace. You are going to extracurriculars, you have to ace it. There has to be some limits. Okay, but it's also, you should not confine anybody, but at least you should not pressurize anybody, that because they'd be leading to suicides. Because recent NCRB report says that over 13,000 students died in 2021 in India, just because of the scarcity of failure in examination. Can we understand the idea? Because if you're getting 92%, 98% people are taking out the band Baja Bharat everywhere and they're trying, but eventually it is not helping them. but it is also harming the entire societal structure, and there's kind of very toxic kind of competition going around. Yes, individual development, individual differences should be accepted, but at least we should not stretch so much. A plastic cannot be stretched until a certain limit, or else it will get teared up, or the entire structure, the entire ideology, the happiness would turn into ashes. So these kind of things, give and take balance, has to be remembered by both the parent, teacher, and also children in a larger course. Can we change to next slide? Yes, so this is the last slide of mine. I've just given, please, thank you for giving me the liberty to speak so much. So these are the only things that I've noticed in my day-to-day life. Yes, parent-child relationship, the psychology is very theoretical, but yet it is very practical in nature, because it's not that we only read in books. It's the day-to-day interactions that we're having, the understanding, misunderstanding, we're crying, we're happy, we are fighting with parents. Yes, it's a part of life. You have to fight. If you do not fight, you do not know the understanding of peace. If you do not do mistakes, you'll not understand that you, yes, there are your parents who would be guiding you in all the odds that we're having. So please refrain from arguing presence of a younger individuals. I'm not saying only to parents, but also the seniors. They quarrel very negatively. Touch wood, I never saw my parents arguing, which is why I have a very different mindset of marriage structure of family. But if a child has seen family quarreling and everything, they'll have disturbed childhood, and also they would be very skeptical about a marriage institution or even sharing a bonding with everybody. So this is what I think, a very simple thing, that you should refrain from arguing or quarreling. And the habit of smoking and drinking is very casual. It's like a hero ponte disguise. Yes, this is a very common ideology that yes, hum drink karte hain, kum karte hain. This is a part of the modernity, the kind of sense of ideas that we're having. But I think this is hampering it, because this is leading to many of the crimes that are happening in the society. And never normalize the use of slangs, because slangs are also becoming the part of the modern culture, or becoming the elite culture, or becoming the show off culture that I have seen. And people are students, my friends are some which are using slang. They're not scared of their parents, because like mere papa, mere mummy, mere bhai behan bhi use karte hain, so what's wrong in me using it? So we are taking, as a senior, we are taking or paving what in a path to a very wrong direction for our juniors. And the negative feelings and everything, is it's just a way how we interact with people. Because importance of money should also be understood, because if you are having money, it's very good, but the limitations, the need for money, the value of money should be taught to each and everyone, so that there will the interaction. Because many of the issues, fights, generation gaps are happening, it's only because of this kind of things. When you are having ideas of studies, ideas of money, you want to buy new clothes, when you are having thousands of new clothes, but just to showcase or show off with the new brands, you want to buy things. So there, the aspect of money comes in very important thing. Yes, and your personal experiences hold very much of significance, but do not impose it on your children. Yes, you have come out through a Gen Z millennials era, where you have seen LPG reforms, you have seen, some might have seen partition, they have transformed their information. And even in votings, do not impose your idea of voting a particular party to some students, or some your students, your child, because they might have other understanding of a developed society, of a democracy. So do not impose this kind of politics, culture, attitudes, beliefs, because religion, we are far from not getting implemented. Because since we are born with a caste, class, religion, everything. This is a very different notion, but at least for a politics, votes, they should also be given some kind of individuality. The kind of having a say in a family is very much important. If you show trust, if you give them the power to communicate, involve in decision making, it will make an impact difference in your society, and in even your family. There'll be much more of contentment, that would be thing. Yes, effective communications, patience from both the sides, but basically I'd request the seniors and the parents to hold some kind of more patience, because yes, we accept, we do mistakes, but because we are learning, we are naive, which is why we're doing. And also spending quality time are irreplaceable, of course, because time is what physical interaction is what makes a relationship stronger, makes a bond easier, and the communication easy. Please, this is a because teenage period is where we fall into prey with so many relationships, love relationships, hate relationships. Let the students, let your parent child talk to you about relationships. Do not judge them. Do not make faces around them. Let them feel comfortable. If you are not giving them the space to talk, they will go to other mediums which might harm them in the later part. So be the safeguarders of your children. And although I was a youth representative, had to make a balance, but I have inclined towards the juniors, the parent, the children part, and not the parents, because it would be who you would be the guiding light for us. And we also expect so many things. So if you come up to the expectations, of course you also have some expectations from us, but it has to be a both way folded round. But the responsibility of the parents, I feel, as a youth representative, is much more than what we expect from the students and the children. With this, I'd like to conclude. Thank you very much again for giving me the opportunity to speak on this national webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Smita, for sharing your views and experiences. Thank you very much, and also thank you for sharing such an informative and interesting presentation. Moving further, I request Mrs. Rajana Thakur ma'am and Mrs. Yogita Thakur ma'am for question answer session. Over to you, ma'am.
सर, हमें खुशी है कि हमारे समक्ष बहुत सारे प्रश्न आए हैं और प्रश्नों की संख्या बता रही है कि ये सेशन को बहुत ध्यानपूर्वक सुना गया है और समय अभाव के कारण हम कुछ प्रश्नों को आपके समक्ष प्रस्तुत कर रहे हैं। उसमें एक स्टूडेंट का प्रश्न है, सलीम था, कि जनरेशन गैप को कवर नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन इसे कैसे मैनेज कर सकते?
बड़ा सटीक क्वेश्चन है। जैसे मैंने कहा अपने लेक्चर में भी कि गैप जो है वो स्टेटस है और वो हमेशा बनी रहेगी, क्योंकि हमें इस प्रोसेस को देखना है जिसके कारण ये गैप आ रही है, और उस प्रोसेस को स्मूथाइज करने के लिए पेरेंट को डे 1 से प्रैक्टिस करनी है कि वह उस बच्चे के लिए एक मेंटर, एक गाइड, एक फादर, अ मदर, एक फ्रेंड, एक टीचर के रूप में वह उसके पास उपस्थित हो जाए और बच्चे को ये महसूस हो कि वह उसके पेरेंट्स जो हैं वो हर हाल में उसके साथ हैं, तो वो जनरेशन गैप अपने आप मैनेज हो जाएगी।
सर, दूसरा क्वेश्चन है, पेरेंट्स चाहते हैं कि उनके बच्चे हाई पोजीशन को अचीव करें, लेकिन बच्चे मोबाइल और सोशल मीडिया में इतने बिजी हो गए हैं कि उनको अपने गोल के विषय में कुछ भी पता नहीं, तो हम कैसे उनको उनके गोल के प्रति आकर्षित करें?
बहुत बड़ी समस्या है ये, बहुत पर्टिनेंट क्वेश्चन भी है ये, और बीइंग साइकोलॉजिस्ट क्लिनिक में हम बहुत देख रहे हैं, और कोरोना के पश्चात तो ये स्थिति और बदतर हो गई है, और वो एक मजबूरी के वश देना पड़ा मोबाइल बच्चों के हाथ में। परंतु जो आज एडोलेसेंट हैं या जो यंग हो चुके हैं, उन लोग ने कोरोना के पीरियड में भी वही खालीपन देखा, और खालीपन में वो उस मोबाइल से एडिक्ट हो गए, स्क्रीन एडिक्ट हो गए हैं। क्योंकि एक मेंटल डिसऑर्डर है, तो इसको ठीक करने के लिए साइकोलॉजिस्ट, साइकेट्रिस्ट हेल्प कर सकते हैं उस मामले में, कि कई पेरेंट्स आते हैं और हम लोग उनकी हेल्प कर पाते हैं उसको रिड्यूस करने के लिए और उनके मुकाम तक पहुंचाने के लिए कि जिसके लिए वो डेस्टिन्ड हैं। परंतु न हो ऐसा, इसके लिए पेरेंट्स को जागरूक रहना चाहिए। अब तो पेरेंट्स को जागरूक हो ही जाना चाहिए कि स्क्रीन एडिक्शन एक मेंटल डिसऑर्डर है। इसलिए जब मैंने कहा कि हम मोबाइल उसको दें, इसके हाथ में दें, तो एक एग्रीमेंट होना चाहिए दोनों के एक साथ कि हम खाली आधा घंटा ही, या यंग है तो 1 घंटा एंटरटेनमेंट के लिए, यदि कोई एजुकेशनल पर्पस है तो बात अलग है, परंतु तब भी मॉनिटर करने की जरूरत है। और एक ट्रस्ट फुल रिलेशनशिप पेरेंट और चाइल्ड के बीच में होने चाहिए कि यदि मैं स्क्रीन पर हूं पापा, तो मैं एजुकेशन पर ही हूं, अन्यथा नहीं हूं। और चूंकि एक मैक्सिमम जो इशू आता है वो आता है लेट आवर्स का, लेट नाइट का। तो एक एग्रीमेंट बच्चे के साथ ये भी होना चाहिए कि 9:30-10 बजे के बाद मोबाइल स्विच ऑफ होके या वो पेरेंट्स को दे दें वॉलेंटरली, ताकि वह रात को सो सके। एक बहुत मेजर आवर उनका विदाउट मोबाइल के होगा और वह धीरे धीरे वह डीकंडीशन हो जाएगा, डी एडिक्टेड हो जाएगा और अपने सामान्य पेस में आएगा। उसको सक्सेस का टेस्ट मिलने लगेगा। उसके पहले वो सक्सेस से घबराता है, डिप्रेशन में जाता है कि मैं कोप अप नहीं कर पाऊंगा और वो और ज्यादा स्क्रीन एडिक्ट होते जाता है। एक विशियस साइकिल निर्मित होती है और इस विशियस साइकिल को तोड़ना तभी संभव है जब मोबाइल या स्क्रीन पर जो टाइमिंग है उसको कम किया जाए। आइडियली पेरेंट्स को भी इस बात का ध्यान रखना चाहिए कि वह भी बच्चों के साथ जब हों तो वो मोबाइल का उपयोग न करें। जब खाना खाने बैठे हैं तो भी किसी के हाथ में मोबाइल नहीं होना चाहिए। हम मान लेते हैं आधा घंटा टीवी वॉच कर रहे हैं तो भी मोबाइल किसी के हाथ में नहीं होना चाहिए। जो ग्रुप प्ले एक्टिविटी है, ग्रुप एक्टिविटीज हैं, वो ग्रुप एक्टिविटीज के रूप में हो और बच्चा देखे कि हम इसके बगैर एंजॉय कर सकते हैं लाइफ को, तो फिर बच्चा धीरे धीरे मोबाइल के प्रति अपने आकर्षण को कम कर लेगा। और जैसे मैंने कहा, यदि कोई की स्थिति क्रिटिकल है तो मनोवैज्ञानिक बैठे हैं, मनोचिकित्सक बैठे हैं, पेरेंट्स की सहायता कर सकते हैं। जैसे कि हम लोग पास डी एडिक्शन सेंटर है, अल्कोहल डी एडिक्शन है, ड्रग डी एडिक्शन सेंटर है। अब साइकोलॉजिस्ट लोग प्लान कर रहे हैं कि मोबाइल डी एडिक्शन सेंटर को भी डेवलप किया जाए। हो सकता है भविष्य में ये एक साकार रूप ले ले। थैंक यू।
सर एक और स्टूडेंट है मिस भारती, उनका क्वेश्चन है कि बच्चों को डांटते तो हैं।
हेलो, आवाज क्लियर नहीं। हेलो
योगिता मैम, आप पूछ लीजिए। नेटवर्क
आवाज नहीं आ रही है। डॉक्टर अरुण, कोई आवाज नहीं आ रही है।
जी सर, वो नेटवर्क इशू हो गया सर।
ओके, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है।
योगिता मैम अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ। योगिता मैम अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ।
हेलो।
हाँ मैडम।
गुड आफ्टरनून सर।
गुड आफ्टरनून।
माई सेल्फ योगिता तलोकन। सर एक क्वेश्चन ये आया था, वैसे काफी इंफॉर्मेटिव और नॉलेजेबल सेशन रहा सर। बहुत अच्छे अच्छे कमेंट्स हमें मिले और काफी सारे लोगों ने थैंक कहा है सर। एक क्वेश्चन ये भी था सर कि एक हम कैसे बिना इंटरफियर किए बच्चों को एंगेज कैसे कर सकते हैं?
बड़ा कॉन्ट्रास्टिंग स्टेटमेंट है ये। कुछ एक्टिविटीज होती हैं बच्चे की, वो इंडिविजुअल होती हैं पूरी की पूरी। जैसे उसकी पढ़ाई है, उस पढ़ाई के समय उसको इंडिविजुअल टाइम देना जरूरी है। वहां पे हमको इंटरेक्ट करने की जरूरत नहीं है। उसकी पढ़ाई पूरी हो जाए और उसके बाद हम उसके बारे में इंटरेक्ट कर सकते हैं उसके साथ। परंतु पढ़ाई के दौरान अनड्यू इंटरेक्शन, इंटरफेरेंस की जरूरत बिल्कुल नहीं है। जहां तक प्ले की एक्टिविटी है तो वहां पर इंटरफेरेंस शब्द ही गलत है। वहां पर हम मिलजुल कर इंटरैक्ट करें, वो ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है और वो होना चाहिए। फिर यदि बच्चा खेल रहा है, मान लेते हैं आधे घंटे के लिए मोबाइल गेम खेल रहा है, हमने आधा घंटा समय फिक्स किया है, वो कोई मोबाइल गेम खेल रहा है, तो हम उसके साथ बैठ के मोबाइल गेम को एंजॉय कर सकते हैं। देन वो उसको इंटरफेरेंस नहीं मानेगा और वो उसको एंजॉय करेगा कि हम मम्मी पापा भी मेरे गेम से अप्रिशिएटेड हैं, फील कर रहे हैं। तो बगैर इंटरफियर करना और इंडिविजुअल लर्निंग देना, इंडिविजुअल तो इंडिविजुअली होता है और जब इंडिविजुअल होता है तो वहां पे इंटरफेरेंस की कोई आवश्यकता होती ही नहीं है। और जब यदि कोई छोटी छोटी बात पे, ऐसे हमारे पास कई केसेस हैं कि बच्चा मोबाइल में बात कर रहा है तो उसकी मदर बिल्कुल कान में उसके बाजू में आके सुनती रहती है कि वो क्या बोल रही है, किससे बात कर रही है। ये सब चीजें अनड्यू, हमने उसको मोबाइल दिया है और समय फिक्स किया है, तो उस समय उसको लिबर्टी दें और अनड्यू इंटरफेरेंस वहां पर ना करें। हाँ, मॉनिटर जरूर करना चाहिए कि सुपरवाइज करना चाहिए कि हमारा बच्चा कुछ गलत दिशा में तो नहीं जा रहा है जब वो मोबाइल या दूसरे ऐसे इलेक्ट्रॉनिक इक्विपमेंट्स का उपयोग कर रहा है।
थैंक यू सो मच सर। वी होप सभी पार्टिसिपेंट्स को अपने क्वेश्चंस के आंसर मिल गए होंगे। थैंक यू सो मच।
थैंक यू वेरी मच। Thank you.
Sir,
God bless you.
there is one more question which I
Okay.
would like to ask you, sir.
Okay,
As you
okay,
said
please.
that, mentioned in your speech that generational gaps is a universal thing which was remain when we were young, and which is also there in the present situation, and which will be in the future generation also.
Sure,
But
sure.
sir, when I was young and when we were young, we didn't know anything about puberty, adolescent, teenagers, and we didn't know about the characteristics of this particular age. But we were very cultured and very instilled with values. We only obeyed our parents. We didn't never ask about anything. And in spite of the generational gaps, so what is the main reason why this is occur so much as we advances towards the modernity, towards the modernity and technological advancement? But I really feel that the value systems are degraded among the youngsters. And there is one more dilemma in my mind, sir. We blame the youngster, the young generation, but when we see the old age home, in the old age home, there are people about 80 years of age, above 60, and we were with our children. So what is the reason? It means the people, means the people of our fathers like age, they send their parents to the old age home, not the new generation. So it's very contradictory. It is
Look,
invites in my several thoughts. It's very confusing for me.
there's no confusion about it. This concept of old age home is not a new. Since ancient time, we have stories about that. And I read one story where there was a tradition of the village, and when the parents gets old, they used to send them out of the village somewhere at an ancient time also. But I'm very optimistic, as I told that I'm a positive psychologist. If we count now by 2030, the proportion of the newly born child and the old age people who are surviving will remain same, will be same. Means if we take Indian scenario, so by 2030, if the population goes 150 crore, so out of that, say 50 crores will be the suppose there are 20 crores newly born, and then that 20 crores will be the old age. And the population which has increased, the number of people in Vridhashram have also increased in that proportion only. And moreover, I feel it's a responsibility of the parents. It is a एक कहावत है हिंदी में, जैसा बोएंगे वैसा मिलेगा. तो ये मेरे ख्याल से वो वृद्ध हैं, मैं ब्लेम नहीं कर रहा हूं सबको, परंतु ये वो वृद्ध हैं जिन्होंने अपने जीवन काल में अपने बच्चों के सामने, अपने माता पिता के सामने वो व्यवहार किया था जो आज उनको मिल रहा है. So it's a lesson for all we young people that we must not produce any odd example in front of our children, which we may suffer in future. We are reaping the seeds of misconduct toward parents by ourselves only. So it's no surprise that our kids will disrespect us. Because we are the observer. I'm sorry, we are the model to be observed by the children. Now the time is been well said by social psychologists that the parents behave like a model, acts as a model. So there is no dilemma. It is well understood phenomena, and lots of researches has gone. Uh, but again, I say that okay, statistically, if we see that, then it is a normal property. If 0.15% are the old people who are in Vrindaprasham, so 0.15% are people who are being served by the parents at the age of 100 also, at home, with all diligence and respect. Some about 15% are though at home, but they are not being respected so much. But there are 15% who are respected a good lot. And about 68% they are living as per their age and their the parent-child relationship they nurtured in their life. So I still say that that generation gap was there, is still there, and will remain till human race is available. Important thing is the process of the knowledge we are procuring. The knowledge, the process of the knowledge, we must include what you said, the values in the child, inculcation of values, and that I said in my speech that it shall be nurtured right from the moment of the conception. And if that is being done, I say 100% that all Vridhashram has to be closed in future. No Vridhashram will be there. Every parent will be living with their parents happily, being respected and by respecting their youngers. That's a choice is ours. If we don't follow this nature's rule, ultimately we are making ourselves the winner or the loser.
Sir, there is one more question. This is the last question we are going to take. Ms. Sisirkana Bhattacharya, she is asking, what kind of acknowledgement do the children wish to have?
What, pardon? What kind of?
What kind of acknowledgement did the do the children wish to have?
Again, repeat the question.
So,
Some gap is there.
She wants to ask. Sir, what kind of acknowledgement do the parents shall give to the children?
Okay, simple.
What kind of acknowledgement?
Look that every child on this person, every unit of the universe has some unparalleled quality. As I said that psychology is the study of individual differences. So your child also has some of the extraordinary unparalleled quality. We have to help him to get aware about that unparalleled quality. We must help the child. And if we find that the child is showing some extraordinary thing right from his, say, in early period, we must encourage them. I'll just give you an example of my grandchild who is 11 months old. Now, giving him the rituals, we have started making him to pray to the God by putting Jai Jai, say Har Har Mahadev, and then touching the feet. Now, gradually he has started doing himself. As we watch Vaishno Devi or Guru Bani, so he start touching. In support, he is not able to reach the screen. So from in the hands, he will do that and he will touch and he'll put on the head and send that. So this is, and we are clapping. We are saying, good boy, good boy. This acknowledgement that this is task is good. At the same time, when he is doing something wrong, which we need to tell him that though he's not a verbal conversive person, so we have to use some words of command, restrictions that no, this is not good. So as he suppose is crossing the boundaries of the bed where the chances of fall is there, no, you will not go there. Then he stops. Listening the voice, he's respecting our voice of no, accepting it. And this will be a acknowledgement. Acknowledgement means making him aware what is good and what is not good. Then child will have a easy direction to follow. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Over to Priyanka Navre. Miss Priyanka Navre.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Hope that every participants will get their answer. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Lisa Arora, ma'am, to take a vote of thanks. Over to you, ma'am.
माइक ऑन कर दिया है। नेशनल वेबिनार के की नोट स्पीकर डॉक्टर जे.सी. आजवानी सर, आपने अपनी सहज सरल शैली में हमारा मार्गदर्शन किया। पीढ़ियों के अंतराल को कम कैसे किया जाए, रिश्तों में मजबूती कैसे आए और गुड पेरेंटिंग के बहुत सारे टिप्स हमें दिए। ऐसा क्या करें कि बच्चे प्रगतिशील भी हों और उनका अपने पेरेंट्स के साथ गहरा जुड़ाव भी हो। इससे इस पर हमारी समझ विकसित हुई। हम आभारी हैं आपके। बहुत शुक्रिया आपका, और हम चाहेंगे कि आपका मार्गदर्शन हमें बार बार और हमेशा हमेशा मिलता रहे। हम आभारी हैं अस्मिता भारद्वाज जी का, जिन्होंने जनरेशनल गैप को दूर कैसे करें और आपस में सामंजस्य कैसे बिठाएं कि बच्चे प्रगतिशील भी हों और पेरेंट्स के साथ उनका जुड़ाव भी बना रहे। इस पर आपने हमारी समझ को गहरा किया है, इस पर एक अच्छी बातचीत और सार्थक बातचीत आपने की है। हम आपका भी आभार व्यक्त करते हैं। इसी बीच हमारे प्रश्न उत्तर का सिलसिला भी शुरू हुआ, जिसका संचालन हमारे विभाग के रंजना जी और योगिता जी ने किया। उनका भी मैं बहुत शुक्रिया अदा करती हूँ। आप सभी का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया और आभार।
Thank you, ma'am. Now, moving to the second session, I like to request Praveen Verma to share his views on the topic. Over to you, Praveen.
Yes. क्लियर है आवाज में? वेबिनार में उपस्थित आदरणीय समस्त सम्माननीय गुरुजनों को मेरा सादर नमस्कार एवं अभिनंदन। मैं प्रवीण वर्मा, युवा प्रतिनिधि बीएड तृतीय सेमेस्टर, कोलंबिया कॉलेज रायपुर। सबसे पहले चंद्रयान 3 की सफलतापूर्वक लैंडिंग पर हम सभी भारतवासी को शुभकामनाएं। ये इसरो तथा भारत के अभूतपूर्व सफलता है। तत्पश्चात हम आते हैं वेबिनार। ये वेबिनार कोलंबिया कॉलेज एवं CESCO के संयुक्त तत्वाधान एवं सहयोगात्मक प्रयास से आयोजित है, जिसमें बच्चे माता पिता के चेतना को बढ़ावा देना है तथा यह वेबिनार बच्चे और माता के पिता के बीच में एक बंधन की तरह कार्य करेगा, जिससे आपसी संबंध को बढ़ावा मिलेगा तथा एक दूसरे के भावनाओं के प्रति समझ और सहानुभूति विकसित होगी। वेबिनार के माध्यम से माता पिता और बच्चों में जागरूकता और सम्मान पैदा करना है। जैसे वर्तमान में पालकों द्वारा सुनने को मिलता है कि आजकल के बच्चे हमारी तो कुछ सुनते ही नहीं, पता नहीं किस दुनिया में रहते हैं। जी हाँ, यदि ये प्रकार के शब्द हम सुनने लगे तो ये शब्द जनरेशन गैप की ओर इशारा करता है। वास्तव में जनरेशन गैप क्या है? जनरेशन गैप एक उम्र समूह और दूसरे अन्य भिन्न उम्र समूह के बीच में विश्वास तथा उनके देखने के तरीके, व्यूज और विश्वास की परस्पर भिन्नताएं ही जनरेशन गैप कहा जाता है। कहीं ना कहीं जनरेशन गैप को कम्युनिकेशन की कमी माना जाता है और जनरेशन गैप के कारण समाज में ऐसे कई सारे परिणाम आते हैं जिससे अधिक नुकसान बच्चों को भुगतना पड़ता है। जब माता पिता बच्चे को रिश्ते को एक साथ कैसे आदर्श बनाया जा सकता है? माता पिता और बच्चों को का संबंध जो है वो दो तरफा की सड़कों की तरह है। दूसरे शब्द में ये दोनों का रिश्ता एक साझेदारी की तरह होती है। जैसे विविध रंगों वाली फूलों की एक बगिया सुंदर दिखाई देती है। बच्चे के व्यक्तित्व को पहचानने के लिए जिस प्रकार माता पिता माली की तरह बगिए के देख रेख करने वाले मालियों की तरह करेंगे और उनको अच्छे पोषण देंगे, तो उनका बच्चा रूपी गार्डन सुगंधित बिल्कुल हो जाएगा। और जनरेशन गैप मिटाने में प्रभावी पेरेंटिंग या प्रभावी पालक कौशल जो रहता है महत्वपूर्ण होता है। जैसे आजवानी सर जी ने बताया कि सकारात्मक पालक की ओर जो सकारात्मक पालक की ओर निर्देशित करता है। और जब माता पिता प्रभावी कौशल विकसित कर लेते हैं तो वो जनरेशन गैप को भी मिटाने में सक्षम हो जाते हैं। और कहते हैं ना कि परिवर्तन ही प्रकृति का नियम है। समय के साथ हर चीजों में बदलाव देखने को यह मिलता है, स्वाभाविक है। यही वजह है कि माता पिता और बच्चों के बीच में बदलती समय में रिश्तों के साथ दूरियां आ ही जाती है। कभी कभी माता पिता बच्चे को नहीं समझ पाते, तो कभी कभी बच्चे माता पिता को नहीं समझ पाते। इसके लिए समय के साथ हो रहे परिवर्तन को समझना पड़ेगा। जैसे आपके पिता के साथ आपका कोई चीजें मेल नहीं खाती है, ठीक वैसे ही आपके बच्चों के साथ होती होगी कि आपको लगेगा कि आपका बच्चा हमारी मतलब आपके जो बात है वो समझ नहीं पा रहा है। तब ये चीज तब बदलेगा जब आप समझेंगी कि आपके और आपके बच्चे का समय है वो बिल्कुल ही भिन्न है। साथ ही बच्चे को भी ध्यान रखना चाहिए कि आपके पालक यदि आपकी बात नहीं सुन रहे हैं तो उन्हें ऐसा रिएक्ट नहीं करना चाहिए कि आपको तो कुछ पता ही नहीं है। और ये बिल्कुल गलत है, क्योंकि जो व्यक्ति कई सालों से अपने विचारों से चलता आ रहा है वह तुरंत अपने कैसे विचार को परिवर्तन कर सकता है। जिस प्रकार जो सेब होता है या वृक्ष, कोई भी बीज हम बोते हैं उसी का वृक्ष होता है, ठीक उसी प्रकार बालक भी अपना संस्कार का बीज जन्म से ही लेकर पैदा है। बस उसको पालक को उनकी मदद करनी होगी। पालक और बच्चे के रिश्ते को सही तालमेल हेतु माता पिता को बच्चों के डिसीजन में सहयोग करना होगा। जैसे कई बार माता पिता कह देते हैं अपने बच्चों से कि ये चीज गलत है तो गलत है, ये चीज नहीं करना है, तो ऐसा पालक को बिल्कुल नहीं करना चाहिए। क्योंकि उसके साथ उसको समझाए कि वो चीज क्यों गलत है और क्यों सही है, जिससे बच्चे को अंतिम निर्णय लेने पर उसी को छोड़ दे। और वैसा करने पर बच्चा निर्णय अपना सोच समझ के लेंगे। ऐसी कुछ चीजों को भी बच्चों को करनी पड़ेगी जिससे उनके माता पिता को उनसे खुशी मिल सके। इस प्रकार एक छोटी छोटी सी स्टेप बच्चे और पालक के बीच में रिश्तों को परस्पर करीब ला सकते हैं और आपस में जनरेशन गैप मिटा सकते हैं। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Praveen. Thank you very much for sharing your views. Now, I request Ms. Smita Sinha ma'am to introduce to welcome keynote speaker Dr. Deepti Acharya ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Priyanka. Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Gopika Sinha. I take this opportunity to welcome today's keynote speaker, Dr. Deepti Acharya ma'am. She is assistant professor at the Department of Political Science. Since 15 years, she has been teaching at the Department of Political Science. She around 30 articles in her credit. She presented many papers and national and international conference also. Her interested areas in public policy analysis and political philosophy. She has conducted many training programs and projects. She wrote many books. She is the author of the book Water and Public Policy in India, Politics, Rights and Governance by the Routledge, London and New York 2021. Her contribution to education is incomparable. Once again, I welcome all of you for this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Gopika ma'am. Thank you so much for your kind introduction. First of all, I would like to thank you, Abhaji, because I'm in touch with Abhaji directly since many days. And I'm really grateful for giving this opportunity to me. Arun sir also, principal sir, for giving this opportunity to me. Thank you so much. I would like to give my special thanks to the Vice Chancellor, Professor Shukla sir as well, for giving this opportunity to have this wonderful seminar on this very important topic. I'm very grateful to the to today's keynote speaker, the very senior, Professor Ajwani sir, who has given wonderful inputs on the topic what we are going to discuss today. Before going to start with my talk, I would like to request you to please ask your audience who are viewing us live that whether should I continue with my lecture in English or should I speak maximum time in Hindi. So it will be very kind if the review can come, if the feedback can come. So it will be help me because my purpose is not to just to give my man ki baat, but I really wish that everybody should understand what we are doing because the purpose will fail if the communication will not reach in the proper required way. So if suppose anybody is commenting, I would like to request the organizing committee that please keep eye on that and let me know that whether I should continue with it or how should I go with it. First of all, again, I would like to congratulate Arun sir, Dr. Dubey, that they have, reflected on to have this topic that we need to navigating the generation gap, and there is a need to have. I'm sorry today, actually, lots of things are happening in the campus, and I have to attend in between. So I deeply apologize for this inconvenience. Uh, I would like to congratulate, I was saying to Arun sir, because this is something very important. And the term they have chosen is generation gap. Generation gap means Aparna, please note. The thing is that I'm sorry, this is too much now. Let me put it in silent, otherwise people will keep calling me. Yeah, now there will be no disturbance. Once when you have mentioned that there is need to strengthen the relationship, one thing is very clear that the nature has given this clarity that there will be a relation, there is a relationship between parent and child. But something has happened in between, and therefore the relation is not as strong as obvious that it was in past. As Abha Madam has mentioned in one of her questions to the keynote speaker, sir, that why this has happened that when we were child, our behavior moved towards the parenting and towards our parent was completely different, and now it is completely different. So what's the reason? That means something has happened in between. Certainly the gaps will be there. And I think that as sir has mentioned rightly in the beginning, that this gap will remain and it is unchangeable. But one thing is very important, and that is, I believe, that we need to analyze. Maybe because since I'm a student of political science and policy studies, I believe more in analysis that why this has happened. May I have next slide, please? Something has happened in past few years, and you can see this, that understanding generation gap. I am not saying that we need to navigate. You cannot fill something which is completely natural, which is obvious. The thinking of my parents is different than if I will look at my child, if I am having, then certainly he's thinking in a different mood. I can't even imagine that if I can fill the gap. I think the where we are missing the bus is that we are not able to understand that there is a need to understand the difference. It's not so that you can fill the difference. A child cannot be a parent, cannot think like a parent, and a parent cannot think like a child. So therefore, I think that we need to, to move towards apathic or uninterested to a communicating and interactive family. You can see these pictures I have selected just to make or maintain your interest, because I know webinars are not very, welcoming things, and I have faced a lot about it, because people are not willing to, take part into. The thing is that if in these pictures, if you will try to understand, I have tried to show some pictures that a mother is trying to talk with the daughter, father is trying to talk to a boy child, and now when a child is even trying to talk, the father is busy at home. And all these things that are present, we are willing to move towards a family that is sitting on a sofa and interacting with each other. As each questions that was being asked by, by the participants, and also the organizing committee, one thing is bit clear, that mobile is the biggest enemy, I think, of this solution. But I think we are not looking at another side, that mobile has helped parents to know that where my child is. So earlier, my mother was very much worried when I used to go to college. She was very worried that my child is not coming to school, or my child is not coming to class. But now she is very happy that my child is coming to school. She is very happy that my child is going to college. And I think this is the biggest Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I know sorry is not enough, but what to do today? Electricity is not very supportive,
ऐसा हो जाता है.
and because अरे लेकिन वो लाइट चली जाती है ना, तो इसका जो कनेक्शन है इंटरनेट का वो नहीं चला जाता है बार बार. और मैंने मोबाइल से अब तक किया हुआ था सुबह से, तो अब वो भी है. Is that we were talking about this, that how we can reach to this, that a family, a parent that are unable to talk to the child, and how they can reach to a stage where everybody can talk with each other. Can I have a next slide, please? First thing, that before reaching to any discussion, I think that because very often we are thinking that if you have this, then therefore you are behaving like that. When we are started thinking that if a child will not have a parent, what will happen? The first question, I think that we can start our discussion in this direction, where we can think about it, that how a life of a child will be, how a child will behave, what will be the life of the child जब parents ना हो तब. And I think that this picture is showing the pain, the sorrow, and the hopelessness. I think that the words are not enough to tell that what type of life a child will have if there is no parent. Or the parent, why it is very important to understand, because a child will not understand the significance of relation until and unless the child is not realizing कि अगर माँ बाप नहीं होंगे तो क्या होगा. I think that very often we are trying to talk about कि देखो तुम्हारे parents हैं तो वो ये तुम्हारे लिए ये कर रहे हैं वो कर रहे हैं, but let's start with this thinking that what will happen if they are not there. At least if I will look at myself, I can't imagine my life with my mother or my father. The issue is here that today's generation, I will not say every child, I'm not generalizing, it's not a general statement. There are some caring child, as well as even keynote speaker sir has mentioned, there are caring kids as well, childs as well. But I think the ratio is reducing. There are more who are indifferent, who are not willing to think about that why it is very important to have parents in my life. And I think that from there we need to start thinking. I would like to share, before going to the next slide, I would like to share one incident that has happened with me. And this I would like to share just to express how the way of thinking is being changed. This is also the next slide is also showing that how the life will be without parents. You will be an easy target of child abuse, violence. And the last picture that was having a boy who is crying. I think you move to the next slide. This boy who is in pain, he has closed his eyes uh, without any expression. He is just uh, in so deep sorrow that there is no expression. And this is certainly not a random picture. This boy is orphan from South Africa, and uh, the all the pictures which I have taken, and even in next slides whatever will come, you can find it on internet. So it's not my own creation. I would like to clear it. uh, the incident has happened that once in my family I was trying to talk with one of our family members. She is a child. She was a child, and I was trying to tell her the story of Shravan Kumar. We all know about that story, that how Shravan Kumar has decided to take parents to pilgrim, those who were not able to see, who were not having a clear visibility, and he decided that since my parents wants to travel and to go to different tirths, I should take them. Now I was telling her that he took them and he has now, because they were not very rich, कैसे वो अपने कंधे पे उठा के उनको पूरी जगह पे घुमा रहा था, and the baby child stopped me there. She asked me one question that, Masi, you said that both were blind. I said yes, they were blind. So then why they were willing to go? Because they were poor as well. They could have asked the child to go, you go, my son, and travel, see, take your experience and come back and let me know how the experience was. For a while, I was thinking that, see, the how the generation gap is there. There was a time when Shravan Kumar was being celebrated as the most obedient, son. And parents, whenever they want to give example of idealism as a child, we used to give example of Shravan Kumar. And now there is a child who is having age of 8, is asking me that if they were blind, अगर उनको दिखाई नहीं देता था, तो वो जाके क्या करते? उनको दर्शन नहीं होते। ईश्वर के दर्शन उनको कैसे होते? क्योंकि वो तो आंख से ही देख सकते थे। And then I realized that the first question before us is that, can we have next slide please as well, because it is connected to that. The need of thinking is that to understand that why the child has taken, or Shravan Kumar has taken the parents to Teerth and so on, because it was not a question of whether they were they have visibility or not, they can do darshana or not, but it was a question of desire. The very important factor is that whether we are knowing about that, how we can fulfill the desire, or what is my obligation. Why should I think about my parents, that their desires matter a lot when they are not able to do something? Because every time it's parents who are fulfilling. And I know there are many, there must be many audience, among audience, some, some students who are watching this, and they must feel ki, madam, you don't know my parents, because that's the very common statement a child is giving. But I'm sure that after certain years, when they will play the same role right now what their parents are playing, they will realize that what I'm saying was completely right. The significance of this relationship is supposed to be explained to them instead of preaching to them. In my next slide, I will emphasize on this, but in this slide, I would like to say that why it is very important to strengthen, secure the relationship between child and it's not so that only a child is having this obligation or a parent is having obligation. But I think to have a wonderful society, to have a wonderful nation, it's very important to have a good family, because family is a bunch of many relationships, a group which is giving identity to a child. When you are born, and when somebody is asking you your name, who are you, then the first answer of a child, whatever age that child is having, is that my name is this. And the name is including the surname, which is the family identity, and the first name which is given by the parents. So I think that your first identity, like me, if I am Dipti, then the first identity, that my name is Dipti, so that people should know. I know name is not everything. And if you will look at Hindu philosophy, it is also saying that it's soul that comes first, which is having no identity. But I think that when you are in a world, materialistic world, when you have to do many, public affairs, then you need to have an identity, and your first identity, therefore, is your name, which is given by the parents. The second very important thing is that when a child is in the family, he or she is secure, is protected, because family protects and secure from all type of fears, and it is fulfilling all the emotions. When you are sad, you feel that my parents should come, and even equally the parents are thinking like, see, if they are upset, They really wish, those students who are listening me today, I will request them to please realize this also, that as you want to feel important, your parents are also human beings. Stop making them heroes by saying that they are my parents and so what if they are doing like that. It's their duty. Trust me, the equal duty lies with you as well, and that is the reason why you and me are in a family. And the another thing which is very important for a child is that how you will behave in certain situations, how what you have learned, how you have understand things, that is very much depend on the natures of the relationship. How Asmita has just mentioned in the beginning, that if the parents are not having good relations, it is certainly affecting the nature and mood of a child. So I will not give preaching to the parents because I think it's very common whenever we are talking about the generation gap. I think instead of understanding and analyzing it, we are starting preaching that you should do like that, these, and it's very simple when it comes to word, but when it comes to action, we all know that it's extremely difficult. Another thing is that when we are looking at why it is very important to have a relationship, because it is giving you space to think how my child is thinking, what it is thinking, and this process of thinking is coming from the parents. Like this is 100% I can say with my experience. Once I have given one documentary to one of my family, a child who is my family member as well, and I have given on geography, national geography, and it was about the details of nature, this and that, and certainly it was, since it was covering African forest. The man who was doing anchoring and giving comments was South African. The boy to whom I have given the CD came and I asked that how you find the CD, whether you liked it or not. He was at that time around 12 or 13 years old. I asked him कि कैसी लगी CD, अच्छी लगी तुमने, have you watched it? उसने कहा मैंने देखी तो सही, लेकिन मुझे लगता है अगर इसमें सलमान खान कमेंट्री देता ना तो और ज्यादा मजा आता. And this I got that the family. This I understood from this, that family is too much keen about the appearances, about the beauties, instead of the family is not talking much about the intellectual things, and this is reflecting in the thinking of the child as well. So this also was a bit confusing for me, that how to respond in this type of situation when a child is not agreeing to look at the knowledge that that person holds, but he is going with the physical appearances. And we are very often in family, especially parents, are avoiding this, that when you are looking somebody, what you are saying, like if a girl is saying, if you are saying, oh my god kitni moti ho gayi, oh kitni kali ho gayi, this is creating a thinking that being dark or being fat is something not good, and from there the negative thinking is starting, and later on we feel after certain years कि अरे हमारा बच्चा, why my child is thinking like that. I think these small things matter a lot. If I can have next slide, please. And therefore, we need to think about that, how we can start with the analysis that gap is there, but what is the nature of gap? Because certainly with me and my mother, the nature of gap is different. With me and my child, the nature of gap is certainly different. So when we people are looking at this aspect of we need to see that what is the relationship. I'm sorry I can't see the PPT, but it's fine if there is any difficulty. I think that you need to start thinking that whether it's a distrust, as many of the speakers today have emphasized on that, we need to communicate. But I think that communication starts with the trust. If I am not having trust on you, I will not talk with you. So you need to start with thinking, how is the relationship between a child and a parent, whether it's a distrust, even if it's over expectation, as one of your speaker has mentioned this also, that parents are very often comparing to a child that Sharma ji ka beta ye hai, tum ye ho. So this over expectation, is it that? You need to ask yourself, and it's not about the parents only. I think even a child is supposed to think about it, that whether they are over expecting from the child or not. I am a bit disagree about one of the speaker who has mentioned that parents should look at the financial issues. Certainly, they have certain obligations when it comes to the career of the child. But I think that very important is about to understand the limitation of parents as well. It's not obvious that whatever you are demanding, your parents will able to fulfill that. This is very important, that which demand, which requirement is genuine. Every child, I think, is having that type of wisdom where that child can differentiate that whether this my demand is this demand of mine is whether uh, acceptable, not acceptable, whether I am making a demand which is beyond the capacity of my father or my mother. The very important is that why to put always this obligation, that please sir, I request you to go to next slide, because I am talking about the next slide now. So whether it's over expectation from both the sides, I would like to say that even both have to. The idea of idealism, whether it's over idealism, that see, idle parents is like that or idle child is like that. You need to understand, जैसे जैसे कहते हैं ना कि अगर आपको आपको हर राम को अगर सीता चाहिए तो उसे भी राम बनना पड़ेगा. So this same philosophy is applied to every child and every parent as well. If you want your child to be best, to be most idle, then you have to be very idle. I will not go because it's preaching. Like, one thing is that whether you are oversensitive about issues, like suppose once if your child is saying ki, now today I will not do my homework, and suddenly because your mood was not good, you are coming from the university and your principal or vice chancellor or dean has said something to you, and then you are saying that what nonsense, you are always doing like this, you are not doing, and then something happened 10 years back, you are coming that thing today, and then started talking about same child is doing the same. If you are in a bad mood, you are asking that your parents that I need to pay fees, and the parent is saying that sorry, today I don't have, maybe after 2 days, then the child is overreacting. I have not used the term deliberately overreacting because it's a negative term. But certainly these type of, many times we are not observing our behavior, but we are oversensitive many times about certain things. Let it go. That is the best way to start with this strategy. Instead of thinking about why it is not idle, I think the best way is to start thinking about that uh, today mood is not good, maybe tomorrow it will be fine. You need to go the the things, and therefore we need to avoid the overreactions. Certain things are very normal, every child is behaving, every parents will behave like that. Like very often because I am bit close to my students, they used to tell me कि आपको नहीं पता मम्मी ने ऐसे पूछ लिया मुझे कि where are you. So I will say that I told them that so what if they have asked you that where are you, it's not wrong. Why we are always thinking that they are doubting on you? They are not doubting, they are caring to you that where are you. The another thing which is very zero communication, I will not talk about it because maximum scholars have talked about. Indifference is very horrible, which is, I think, is very common now, increasing among the young generation. Parent is not well, suppose mother is not well, a child is coming and asking mother, mummy, what is in food, खाना क्या बना है, and the mother is saying आज मेरे बहुत सर दर्द था, and the child is taking the key of cycle or bicycle or whatever and saying ठीक है मैं बाहर खा लेता हूँ, instead of asking the mother whether you have taken the medicine or mummy what you will like to have because you have not cooked and even you are hungry. The issue what is now in Indian societies, we have made relations in the struggle of idealism. I don't know from where this heroism is coming that mummy is fine if she will be empty stomach. अगर 4 रोटी में से अगर मम्मी ने आधी रोटी खाई है तो it's fine, that is how mothers are. It's not so. She is a normal human being. And I think this disrespect, this indifference is supposed to be taken very seriously, because any relation can be built only when there is a respect, when there is a care, when there is attention. And when you are indifferent about कि ठीक है कल ठीक हो जाना आप, so then the relation will not be will be developed. It will not be there. Forget about development. Very often it happens that you are living in between the walls with your child, and you are not in a relation. You don't know what your child is doing, and even child is not knowing what my ma or my papa is doing. Avoidance is also carelessness, also over comparison. आपने मुझे मोबाइल नहीं दिया, उसकी मम्मी को देखो उसने उसको मोबाइल दे दिया, या तुमने नहीं पढ़ाई की, that same thing which is very common. Overconfidence also is a very dangerous thing. The issue is that we are avoiding these very minor small things that are extremely important, and they are दीमक की तरह होती हैं छोटी चीजें जो इतना बड़ा हो जाती हैं कि आपका घर कब खत्म हो गया आपको नहीं पता, आपका पूरा कम्युनिटी धीरे धीरे खत्म होने लग जाता है क्योंकि आपको ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस है. यू फील कि नहीं मेरा बच्चा तो ऐसा कर ही नहीं सकता. अब आपने ऐसे बोल दिया नो, लाइक सपोज इफ my child, somebody is coming and saying, telling me that see your child is fighting with somebody, you have to stop him. I'm not accepting that even my child can fight. He is a normal human being. Maybe उसका मूड खराब होगा. तो instead of looking at the reason, we are saying नहीं मेरा बेटा तो ऐसा कर ही नहीं सकता. Now that child is really willing to tell you that why there was a fight. He wants to explain the situation, but he is not able to, because you have already assumed that your child cannot fight. Now whenever in future he will have some dispute with anybody or any big small or whatever, he will start thinking ki now I will not tell because my parents is having that image in my mind, in their mind, and so I cannot break that of my image. क्योंकि ये parent का भी burden है in this modern era, that they have an impression, they are carrying certain status in their mind, and they want that their child should think about them like this only. And similarly a child is thinking कि मेरे parents मेरे बारे में यही सोचे. I think this need to be break. We are normal human beings, we can do mistakes. We need to understand that why the mistake has happened. Can I go to next, sir? Next slide. So the issues which we need to understand is so minor, and this differences are so minor that you need to understand that why there is this difference, that when I was a child I was not like you, or I was different. It's fine, I was different and you are different, and the reasons are there that my experience towards the life was different. I was not having mobile, so I was not having any distractions. I can score good marks. You have distractions. So now I will not say that be like me. I would say that there are many distractions. Now you have to decide what you want to do. Ideas, philosophy towards life, idea about life, and the purpose. That is very interesting. The purpose of life. Earlier, when things were being discussed in the family, the purpose of life was very divine. It was to help others. Since now some academic developments has happened, if we can say development at all, then the societies and individuals are becoming too much individualistic. They are thinking too much about themselves. मैं मेरे बारे में ही सोचूं ना, मुझे क्या लेना देना किसी. So the purpose is shrinking. Earlier people were willing to and they were happy to live for others. किसी की help करके खुश होते थे. I'm not saying that now they are not helping. As Asmita, I know, even Ojas Dubey, he is, these type of people, even I am very, having these type of students who are always ready to help others. So I will not generalize this, but still I know that there is a shrink of morality. And this we need to accept. Instead of criticizing it, how we can accept it. I think acceptance is something which is, which can, avoid many problems. The pattern of comparison, if you will see, earlier only parents were comparing the children to children. कि देखो ये पढ़ते, तुम पढ़ते नहीं हो, शर्मा जी का बेटा वो जो भी example दिया. Now the things are changed. Children are comparing parents. Like one of my friend was telling me कि मैं मेरी बेटी को स्कूल लेके गया, वेगन they are having वेगन and after 15 days the child was asking to the father, she is 4 years old, she was asking कि पापा हम लोग गरीब हैं क्या? And then the father was saying, why you are asking this question, we are not poor, why you have asked this question? Then she said कि हम लोग वैगन आर में आते हैं और वो मर्सिडीज में आते हैं, मेरी फ्रेंड मर्सिडीज में आती है, तो उसने मुझे बताया कि तुम पुअर हो. See the tendency of comparison. Another difference is the morality, as I said in few minutes back as well, that morality is something which is very subjective, very personal. For me, honesty is something which is a very important thing. Maybe for somebody else, truth is more important. So values that are playing very important role in this, creating more gap. I think social media, we are saying that social media is connecting the people, but this also is very much true that because of no problem, sir. I know internet is a big problem. No problem at all. No problem. Thank you, sir. I know. The rapid change in cultural beliefs and value systems, like now if my daughter is going out, I can say proudly, or I will say proudly that, see, she whole night she was staying at friend's house. And when I cannot imagine when I can say to my parents that I have a project work and I would like to stay to my friend's place. Certain things that were not very common in past now are not just commonly accepted, but are being celebrated. That my child is doing like that. My child is not knowing Hanuman Chalisa, but he is knowing all the English songs. So I think that the social values, the value system is so much changed that it has created more and more gap. And the parents that are having, extremely conservative type of background, they are not really comfortable with these type of value change suddenly. And this is, I think, sir, can we have next slide, please? And this is, I think, creating a major, distance. One thing which is very important for us to understand that what can be done, what is the urgent requirement, and I'm saying the urgent requirement because rest of the things will take, I think, more 10-20 years. Certain things are there, we need to accept कि ये तो होगा ही. जैसे आपने अगर गोली चलाई है तो किसी न किसी को तो लगेगी क्योंकि भीड़ बहुत ज्यादा है. You cannot you cannot even think that things are changing, world is changing, and your child will not get affected with it. It's only this that you have to accept and you have to respect the differences and the gaps. मेरा बेटा या मेरी बेटी मुझसे अलग सोचेगा ही. ये मेरे लिए है कि I want to see or I want to watch Ramayana on TV, but he wants to watch something else. This is the generation gap, and I have to accept it. The another which I strongly believe, and I'm doing it, is telling the story for communication. Instead of telling कि ऐसा ही करो, just try to tell a story that in past somebody has done like that and the result was this. This is very important to be understood and to be considered. Uh, for parents and even for a child, because I think that we need to make balance between, I am not here to talk only about, or I'm not advocate of parents, or I'm not advocate of a child. I would say that I would like to play a role of bridge between the two. And my message is for both the communities, both the groups, not the community, but the group as a parent, and to the child as well, that you need to observe the mood and behavior. If parents are not in good mood, then stop demanding. Try to understand that why they are upset. Just try to know what they are willing from you. And even parents can think like that. You have to, which is very common, I should say, and I'm not very much in favor of it, where parents are sharing that, "Pata hai, kal aisa isne kiya," and then even child is talking with the friends, "Pata hai, meri mummy ne mujhe aise kiya." This is instead of giving solution to your problem. I think it is creating more and more a problem in your life. Criticizing, I think I will not talk much about this. Feeling of responsibility is very great, I think, and this is very important to make. Even a child should make parents part of the decision. Like suppose if you are willing to go for a picnic with friends, ask your parents कि कहाँ जाए, मम्मी क्या लगता है, आप कहाँ गए थे, आपको क्या लगता है मैं कहाँ जाऊँ. तो parents will feel very good. They are in a very bad mood, they are not willing you to go, but since you were insisting, they will say कि ठीक है चले जाओ. But when you will ask this question कि कहाँ जाना चाहिए, they will feel that okay, you want me to be the part of your life. Similarly, parents, whenever they are doing something big, suppose खाने में क्या बने, occasion कहाँ हो, what should be the venue of the place, date क्या हो, small things, every small things. And when you are making, then the child will feel कि हाँ मैं बड़ा हो रहा हूँ. My things are, see, everybody wants to be treated as big. And I think that uh, अगर थोड़ा सा satisfy किसी को कर भी दिया, तो I think that there is no harm in that. Making feeling that you are, because you are making that person the part of your decisions, that person will certainly feel कि मेरी भी value है, and that child will tell to everybody, see कैसी लगी, जगह कैसी है, how is the venue. And if somebody will say जगह बहुत अच्छी है, तो the child will say मैंने बताया है. And see the proud moment for a child कि देखो मैंने कहा और मेरे parents ने मेरी बात मान ली. Like Asmita recently have mentioned that my parents are always, see the proud moment. She was so happy to share this, that my parents are accepting whatever I'm saying. Not whatever, but whatever genuine I'm saying. Try to explain, this is extremely and extremely important, that why wrong is wrong and why right is right. सही सही क्यों है, गलत गलत क्यों है, इसका जो जस्टिफिकेशन है वो बर्डन बहुत ही बड़ा होता है. सिगरेट पीना क्यों बुरा है, ये एक्सप्लेन करना, this is something I think is very important, instead of telling कि मर जाएगा मत पी. These type of statements will not, because tackling children today, it's very difficult. Make them understand that what will happen if you will do wrong. It's very important to, and suppose if a child is doing wrong, we need to understand that there is a need to analyze that why this wrong has happened. कहाँ गलती हो गई, instead of keep talking about any incidents which went wrong. I think the best way is to talk about कि ऐसा हो क्यों गया. जैसे मान लीजिए आपका your child got accident, वो उसके लगी हुई है और आप उसको डांट रहे हैं, तुझे तो चलाना ही नहीं आता, तेरी गलती होगी, तूने हेलमेट नहीं पहना था, तूने ये किया था, वो किया था. And the child is very frustrated and he stopped communicating with you. And this incident he or she will remember forever. कि जब मुझे इंजरी हुआ था, तो instead of asking कि how you fell down, you have assumed in your mind कि मैं ही गलत. Next I think this is the last one which I would like to add into, and that is that let's have this, that in the conversation, that social and cultural values are very important. How you will fill this, by telling कि जैसे अभी आप अगर रामायण की बात करें, आप बोलें कि राम जी भगवान जो थे वो वन में चले गए just to keep one promise, तो this child will say foolish थे, क्यों गए, जरूरत ही नहीं थी. See, because the reason is that the values that is being understood by him is different. You need to tell me, ये तो नहीं था. I think the next one, the last one, yeah, this one, that instead of telling them that राम ने देखो ऐसे करना चाहिए, instead of that you should start valuing the values. मूल्यों का किस तरह से सम्मान किया जाए. और ये सबसे सिंपल, as I said, is storytelling. I don't know where that पंचतंत्र has gone, क्योंकि मैं तो वो सुन के ही बड़ी हूँ. And this always, when there was a metaphor, when there was a moral of a story, मुझे वो हमेशा आज भी बहुत अट्रैक्ट करता है कि वो एक लाइन में कितनी सारी बातें, कितनी सारी टीचिंग हो जाती थी. अभी वो हम कहीं there is miss, we are not able to understand. It's very important to recognize and respect with dignity the difference. Two children in your family may be different. The daughter is bright or son is bright, another child is not bright. Respect is very important. उसको बिचारा बनाना is, I think, is a bad idea, and it is creating more and more gaps, communication gaps, and the issues that are concerning to the distrust. The last is that very important is the last. The last is that the key, I think, of strengthening the relationship is that you have to start celebrating the difference. Your child is knowing how to use mobile in a different way. He can come and you can ask कि कैसे किया ये. These things are, I think is very important that because every child wants that my parents should accept me in a way what I am. But in the image of idealism, we are always missing this, that a child is, as sir also has said wonderfully, that every child is a different, and you need to accept that. But I would replace that acceptance, I would say celebrate it, that my child is different. So what if he is not scoring 10 out of 10 in mathematics? He is very good in music. So this celebration is I think is required. And I think every small moment, and for this I think Good Day is doing a wonderful thing. The company, there is one advertisement which we all have seen, and that is that the girl is saying कि आज Good Day क्यों है, and the girl is saying आज किसी ने भी नहीं बोला कि शादी कब कर रही है. Small thing, but they are celebrating. I think even a child when is coming 10 minutes early, suppose कि रात को रोजाना 10 बजे आता है, आज 9 बजे आ गया, तो you should cook something good और उसको बोलो आज तो जल्दी आया ना, तो हमने त्योहार मनाया है. These small things will make a difference, and it will build trust between a child and a parent. With this, I would like to say thank you so much to all of you. Thank you, Abha Madam. Thank you, Arun sir. Thank you, VC sir, for having me on this event. And if any questions, I would like to take. And sorry for the disturbance in between. Webinars are always difficult, as I said.
Yes,
thank you so much.
This is of webinar.
Yeah, it's really difficult.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for sharing your deep knowledge and valuable insights. Now moving next question answer session. I request Ms. Rekha Yadav ma'am and Dr. Rupali Mukherjee ma'am for question answer session. Over to you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Myself, Dr. Rupali Mukherjee. Ma'am, हमारे पास एक क्वेश्चन है पार्टिसिपेंट की तरफ से. More sensitivity is also dangerous for children.
That's what I'm saying. वही मैं कह रही हूँ कि मैंने पहले ही बोला अपनी बात में कि मैं I am not advocating to the parents. I am not an advocate of parent or a child. I am talking about both the sides. And when they are oversensitive, we know that. I was not willing to comment on that, but we know that suicide cases. And if something has been said, then they are taking it very personally. कि ऐसा बोला तो क्यों बोला? Certainly you need to be mature, but I think from a child expecting from about the maturity is injustice with the child, and therefore he is a child. आपको चाइल्ड को चाइल्ड की तरह ही रखना है. आप उससे ओवर एक्सपेक्ट कर जाते हैं कि वो आपकी तरह बिहेव करे. आप उससे नहीं कह सकते कि अगर मैं तुझे डांटूं तो रोना मत. वो रोएगा ही क्योंकि वो चाइल्ड है. इसीलिए मैंने कहा कि सेंसिटिविटी आपके लिए ज्यादा डेंजरस हो जाती है क्योंकि वो तो बच्चा है, वो ये करेगा ही, वो करेगा ही. उसका ये राइट है, उससे राइट मत छीनिए. उसका बचपन उसी में छिन जाता है. हम जब ये बार बार बोलते हैं कि यू आर ग्रोन अप, बी बिहेव लाइक दैट, तो दैट इज बर्डन. इवन I know maybe many of the audience will not be agree with me, but I think that even a boy or a girl having age of 14 or 15, for me they are a child. And abhi bhi, if you will look at the university campus, they are young, they are adults, and many of them are married as well. But for me they are child. So I am treating, if whatever they are doing, I am thinking that they are child and they have this right to do that mistake. Allow them to do mistake. I think so. I could be wrong, but this is, I think, a matter of approach, how you want to approach to the life.
थैंक यू मैम. मैम एक और क्वेश्चन है. बच्चे अपनी बातें अपने पेरेंट्स के साथ में शेयर नहीं करते, जबकि वो अपनी पीयर ग्रुप के साथ में बड़े कंफर्टेबली बातों को शेयर करते हैं. कई बार ऐसा देखा गया है कि मदर या फादर बड़ा बच्चों के साथ फ्रेंडली भी रहते हैं, बट वो फिर भी कुछ बातें ऐसी हैं जो वो नहीं बताते अपने पेरेंट्स को. मैम इसके पीछे क्या कारण हो सकता है और क्या करें ऐसे बच्चों के साथ?
देखिए, सबसे पहली बात तो ये है कि ये जो नोशन है ना कि फ्रेंड होते हैं, फ्रेंड कभी नहीं होते हैं. पेरेंट्स कभी फ्रेंड हो ही नहीं सकते, क्योंकि अगर आप फ्रेंड बन गए तो आप उसको गलत पे कभी टोक ही नहीं सकते. कभी एक फ्रेंड आपने कभी देखा है कि दूसरे फ्रेंड को रोकता हो? वो तो साथ ही देता है, चिंता मत कर मैं तेरे साथ हूँ. हमारी सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम ये है कि हमने दोस्त बना लिया. हमें बनना था एक केयरिंग पेरेंट, एक अटेंटिव पेरेंट बनना था हमें. और देखिए एक दूसरी, मैं दो चीजें इसमें देखती हूँ. अगर कोई बच्चा नहीं बताता है अपने पेरेंट को, तो उसमें दो रीजन हो सकते हैं. एक तो वन इज कि उसकी शैतानी हो सकती है कि नहीं बताना, समथिंग इज सच अ ह्यूज थिंग कि मैं नहीं बताऊंगा. और कुछ उसमें शायद पेरेंट्स के लिए केयरिंग भी होता होगा कि मैं बता दूंगा तो माय पेरेंट्स विल गेट डिस्टर्ब. वो उनको लगेगा कि अरे इतना सब कर दिया, मुझे ही पहले हैंडल करने दो मेरे पीयर ग्रुप के साथ. तो मुझे कभी कभी लगता है कि ये डिपेंड करता है कि आप अपने बच्चे पे कितना ट्रस्ट करते हैं. आप यदि ट्रस्ट करेंगे तो आपको लगेगा नहीं मेरा बच्चा मुझे इसलिए नहीं बता रहा था पहले क्योंकि मुझे टेंशन हो जाएगी, मुझे बीपी हो जाएगा, इसलिए शायद मुझे नहीं बताया. पीयर ग्रुप के साथ उनको लगता है क्योंकि वो एक ही एज है, उसमें उनका एक्सपीरियंस सेम है अबाउट द लाइफ, उनका बैकग्राउंड सेम है, एक ही बेंच पे बैठे हुए हैं, तो उनको पेड़ जितना दिखाई दे रहा है वो दोनों को सेम ही दिखाई दे रहा है. हम पेड़ के ऊपर बैठे हुए हैं, आप समझिए. तो हमारे लिए तो कुछ चीजें, देखिए एक दूसरी भी चीज होती है कि जब हम ट्रैफिक में जाते हैं और मान लीजिए जगह कम है, तो एक तरफ से ट्रक वाला आ रहा है, दूसरी तरफ से जो सामने से है वो साइकिल वाला या स्कूटर वाला आ रहा है. तो अगर ट्रक वाला आगे आए क्रॉस करने के लिए तो आप कहेंगे अजीब पागल आदमी है, पहले साइकिल वाले को जाने देना चाहिए ना, क्योंकि साइकिल छोटा है. तो जिम्मेदारी जो है वो तो बड़े की ही रहेगी, चाहे आप कुछ भी कर लें. और ये जो हम बार बार इस जनरेशन के बारे में नेगेटिव बात करें या उनको बार बार ये बोले कि तुम ये नहीं तुम वो नहीं, मुझे लगता है वो बहुत बड़ा इंजस्टिस है. क्योंकि जिस एनवायरनमेंट में वो अभी हैं वो दिया तो हम ही ने, जिस पेड़ पे वो बैठे हैं वो पेड़ हम ही ने लगाया था. तो मुझे लगता है कि हमें थोड़ा सा ये चीज समझनी पड़ेगी. और अगर वो नहीं बता रहे, वैसे तो उनको बता देना चाहिए, क्योंकि मैं तो बताती हूँ आज भी, लेकिन अगर वो नहीं बता रहे हैं तो डोंट फोर्स देम दैट दे शुड डिस्क्लोज व्हाट दे डोंट वांट टू, क्योंकि उसमें और बिटरनेस आएगी. कि आप पूछो, उससे पूछो, फिर उसके दोस्त को आपने फोन किया, उसकी फ्रेंड को फोन किया, तू बता मुझे, तो वो और डिस्ट्रेस बढ़ेगा। आप उसके पास जाइए और आप कहिए, सी देयर इज समथिंग वेरी सीरियस आई कम टू नो, बट आई वुड लाइक टू लिसन फ्रॉम योर माउथ ओनली। मैं सिर्फ तुमसे सुनना चाहती हूँ, किसी और से नहीं सुनना चाहती। सी, one thing is very important in family. You cannot play power card. आप अपना power नहीं दिखा सकते. You should not play, but if you want to use a card, emotion is the only card which you can use. बस वही मेरे को लगता है की है जिससे आप ये जान सके कि बच्चे के दिमाग में क्या चल रहा है, वरना तो मुश्किल है, बहुत मुश्किल।
थैंक यू मैम, थैंक यू सो मच। आशा करती हूँ मैम कि ये सेशन सबको बहुत अच्छा लगा, सबके लिए बहुत यूजफुल रहा मैम। थैंक यू मैम, थैंक यू सो मच। प्रियंका।
Thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to invite Dr. Abha Dubey ma'am to propose vote of thanks. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Priyanka. Dipti ma'am, before proceeding to the vote of thanks, I must mention that your session is so praiseworthy, ma'am, and you have touched the aim of the webinar, which we both the speakers, Dr. J.C. Ajwani sir and you, because from the very long time we are thinking to organize this type of webinar in which we would like to address both perspective of both parents and parents and students, children. And in this webinar, we understand, we try to address the relationship, reciprocal relationship between parents and children. And now we hope that we are talking about the child psychology most of the time, but now it's time to understand the parents' psychology also, so that we can maintain or bridge the gap between them. And now at the end of the webinar, I, Dr. Abha Dubey, present vote of thanks to Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, Dr. J.C. Ajwani Sir, Dr. Dipti Acharya Ma'am, for accepting our invitation, sharing your precious and life-changing knowledge with us. I must appreciate Mrs. Smita Bharadwaj and Praveen Verma for expressing their views on this very sensitive topic. And everybody praised this effort of ours to give opportunity to Mrs. Smita and Praveen, the youth representative. And I also express gratitude to the management of Columbia College and CESCO, Mr. Kishore Jadwani Sir, Chairman Jan Pragati Education Society, Mr. Harjeet Singh Hooda, Sir, Secretary Jan Pragati Education Society, and Mr. Santosh Dubey, President CESCO. Ojas Dubey, the founder of Universal Talks, and Principal Dr. Anupar Dubey, for your constant support and guidance. I offer my great salutation to all the participants from every nook and corner of the nation and abroad with you. Without you, this webinar wouldn't be possible. I appreciate the work of our colleagues and the students for their cooperation and support. With the hope we will all regather again in similar topics to create awareness among the masses, so that we can make this place a beautiful, make this earth, or make our nation a beautiful place to live in. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
और ये होप करते हैं कि भारत का सभी बच्चा भगवान श्री राम जी के समान बने। सारे पेरेंट्स उनके व्यूज और आइडियल्स को अपने बच्चों को समझाएं और शेयर करें। वो बच्चे समझेंगे, मेरा बच्चा समझता है, अस्मिता समझती है, प्रवीण समझता है, ऐसे ही सारे बच्चे समझेंगे। थैंक यू सो मच।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू अरुण सर, थैंक यू।